Yo, law check 1 2. Yeah, I see you now on OBS. I do. Let me know if you can hear me. Twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. Yeah, this is what the government does sound like to Marley Matlin. That's solid. Yes, you can hear me now. Yeah, you will hear me now, infidels, for the second time on the rhyme. I didn't even drop a verse on that one, but we're back tonight after a hardcore week, after a hardcore 2 weeks of 2019, where it seems all brotherly love is out the window and the murderous venom is back in all of you, and no one's got any tolerance for anything. We don't have any tolerance for these pedophiles who keep raping and molesting young children. We're going to expose them all tonight with new untold information about JonBenet Ramsey's possible killer, childhood brides, and what's going on in Russia as the mountains collapse around us in a mountain of truth with a conspiracy horseman, infidels. So journey with me into the mind of the maniac, doomed to be the killer since I came out the nutsack. We're in a murderous mind state with a heart full of terror. We see the devil in the mirror, and it's the devil looking back at you, infidels. So join the right side, the bright side, not the church of Satan, and stop hating, because it's the conspiracy horseman. YOLO. Second take, almost as good as the first, I think. A couple extra lines.
He had to no sell it extra hard that time.
That he didn't want to put over any of my skills.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, man? He's in a bad mood. He's big leaguing already, and I hope that he can turn 2019 around, because this is not how we want to start it off. We want a new year, new me, new Stevie Richards fitness, new Sleevey Richards fitness here as the cold front comes in and he's wearing his sleeves tonight. Stevie, how are you?
I'm doing great. I was just trying to include the link on Twitter, which, people were asking me, like, link please, link please, link please. So I want to thank my co-host Popping On for all the replies I got off that tweet.
Nice.
Very appreciative. I'm not in a bad mood. I'm good.
No,
I'm good.
I'm in a bad mood. I'm just projecting.
Oh, well, we survived in our 5 hours of wrestling, and like Vince said, we are in now full episode territory on Master Shoot Theater.
Yeah,
it's by default becoming like a 10-minute segment now minimum.
It's interesting to go back to improvise that way, man, but I'm having a hell of a lot of fun with it, and I'm glad that the fans are liking it. Even today they were talking about just how hardcore we were going during the Raw and SmackDown review on certain topics, making maybe wrestling needs to go rated X with that HBO spot. But guy whose opinion I'm really interested, GGP, what was your favorite part of SmackDown?
My favorite part of SmackDown was the part of the finish of the first match. Actually, no, the Rey Mysterio match with what's his name, Cien Almas.
Yeah,
it's not his name anymore.
Not anymore. You will refer to him as Andrade from here on out. You won't never say
Andrade, whatever his name is. I saw some highlights of that match. It looked like it was good, but whatever.
It was. That was the highlight of the show. Everything else is forgettable at best. But the good news is if you just show up backstage, there's nobody guarding gorilla position. You can just walk out. That's what Becky Lynch did. There was nobody there. She came in, walked right out, and hit the spot, dude. So it's not like it used to be over there. You don't even have to get booked as an extra. You can just walk out anytime you want.
I think they now have the big dinosaur head guarding gorilla. Have you guys seen the big dinosaur head? Pop it on, Sal.
I saw a picture in his office.
No,
right?
I haven't. I haven't watched it, to be honest.
I'm so
Dude,
fun.
No, this is in the office at Titan Towers. This isn't on TV. In his office, he has a huge dinosaur head on the wall.
I'm super triggered that you just said that too, man. Like I just got home and I took my T-Rex head off the plate and it broke in half. I had to glue it. Oh, well, it's
Get
not.
the fuck out,
It's a clean break. I mean, I just got to. I mean, 2 minutes before we went on the air, I was cleaning it up. There's plastic everywhere in here.
There's the gimmick pen. Go to like a fucking store with the as seen on TV.
Yeah.
With that plastic with the ultraviolet, that shit worked perfect on the 3D model plastic.
I think it just snapped because I had to stop it because I used so much that when I changed filament rolls, it was just a weak spot, and it's a clean break. So I should be able to super glue it, I think. But I was hot. I wanted to have it for tonight after last. So.
So am I to understand that both Vince and Nick Cage have a shoot T-Rex skeleton skull in their place of business? That's a real thing? That's got to be a club. You gotta be in a club to have that.
Well, I don't know if they're reproductions or what they've got.
Dude, I think the way that maniac thinks, either somebody worked him to make him think it's real dinosaur bones, or he went somewhere to get a real dinosaur skeleton.
That's actually what's all that's left of Funkasaurus's career.
No, poor Tyrus. I like Tyrus.
I do too.
Yeah, I think I would say that Vince, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that plastic, that.
It's pretty damn big though.
That is pretty awesome though, dude.
Yeah, it'll.
But that
I just gotta.
That plastic stuff will hold that together awesome.
How long did that take?
Bottom jaw took 26 hours. Top took 58.
Wow.
But I guess there's new software coming that is going to cut print time or speed it up 10 times faster. So that'd be crazy.
Think about this. How long do you think it took God to make it?
One day. I mean, all right. And speaking of God's GGP, I appreciate you letting us rib about SmackDown. But how's your week going, man?
It is not dull, to say the least. Very busy over here at the reverse mortgage workshop, stealing everyone's money. Other than that, just trying to keep my head above water. Because I got a match this Saturday. I got Smack Around Azrael over at ECWA down in Delaware.
Cool.
So, exactly. I can't see you, Sal.
I think he means.
I'll come back. I had to switch ports.
You fucking sailor.
Yeah, I'm switching to Crown Black, courtesy of Triple D. So thanks, buddy. It's been one of those days. Sally, how you doing though? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, everything's going. See, now again, I have to think: is this part of some kind of a big club? You, Nick Cage, Vince?
It is very strange that I had the thing printing, and that the night that I'm printing a T-Rex skull, going to imitate Vince, that they show it in his office as well. Like, what are the odds, right?
And
there is an odd. That's called God.
Let's throw another one down the swerve. That was also when we recorded Horror Junkyard, the Nicolas Cage movie, Mom and Dad. And we actually brought up the fact of the T-Rex skull. So now let's throw this all into the fucking go figure mix. The big coincidence mix.
Yeah, I don't know. It is bizarre and strange. Nick Cage has been popping up in my timeline a lot lately too, with other stories too. Didn't he help get Dave Marquez in the business too? I saw that this week. Like, he was working at Disney World, and it was when what stood out to me is Marquez posted. It's a young picture of Nick Cage, how pumped he was because he had just gotten his official pass to get into Club 33 at Disney World. The Freemason shit, right? The secret thing. And that was a pic that Dave posted, and he put something about it in there, but he said he's the one who helped him get put on to Hollywood after that. Just interesting. A lot of Nick Cage this week.
What's Club 33?
It's Club 33?
It's a secret club. It's a secret club inside Disney World with all types of hidden rooms and passageways, and only very VIP 1%ers can get into it. You can't buy your way in.
It's like a super fast pass.
Nope. No, it's behind the scenes. It's like.
No, I'm kidding.
It's a a whole secret society inside Disney World itself.
They take you behind Space Mountain where you play basketball and fuck chicks.
Yeah.
That's where they teach Stevie the Shocker. That's why he never found out about it last week. Yeah. Hey, by the way, real quick, that's a nice Conspiracy Horseman plaque behind you.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it from Bang Biscuit. We gave him a big plug last night on Russo brand. You doing for Stevie Richards Fitness. He left off the last F to keep it on brand. Yeah, he ran out of wood. And he did a great one for Russo brand. And he's got them for sale up there, guys. You can get at them at bang_biscuit, BISKIT. And appreciate, man, all the dedication he's put into our platform, all our producers today, and you guys. I just want to let you know where your Twitch bits are going. I was able to, pay it forward a little bit to all the producers here at Hameen Media Group who do such a great job for us on the arm, just to keep promoting and make sure you guys have great content to listen to. So your bits went right to the Hameen Media producers, and I just want to say thank you to you guys for being such dedicated fans and being so generous with that kind of stuff, because I feel like I owe them something for all the hard work they put in, and as well as my Conspiracy Horseman brothers. Thank you for all you guys do as well.
Thank you. Well, two things. Number one, that was a good segue for that little segment, so you're welcome.
Yeah.
Number
Great.
two, Sal, how is your Conspiracy Horseman plaque? How's that doing? Because I can't find mine. Mine got lost in the mail. I mean, I don't know.
I'm in Pennsylvania, and I'm assuming there's just, you know what it is? Here's the thing. I know Bang Biscuit has a lot going on. There's some.
Stop baby face.
He's got a lot happening.
Stop it! Come on, you're killing the
I know
segment.
he's got. Well, I was going to get to the point that I'm sure he was working on Big Vito's late
wish
Christmas
list.
present.
Yeah, his wish
That
list.
was not on his wish list.
That's where I was going to go with it. It was on my wish list next to my $145 dress shirt that I asked for.
See, I was. You didn't have to rush me. It's a slow road, man. I'm not in a fucking fast moving lane, guy.
Right on.
We've had build up heat.
Hito for Vito, and I got it. We all got to make our own Amazon list, I guess, apparently, so we can bitch about it too.
As long as Papadon, it's okay. You can come at me and Ben and take out all the aggression. You know, we just want to avoid any passive aggressive tweets to Cody in the box.
Yeah.
Just you can take it all out on us.
Well, first of all,
I'm only the second best unsigned talent in the business.
That's
so
right.
what do I know?
well, you know what? I don't call myself the best unsigned talent because that would make me a butt. If you want to be an ass, you can be an ass, my friend. I am the greatest unsigned talent there is today, a gut. And if you don't want a gut, get your Stevie Richards Fitness 16-week band program, and I'll help you lose that gut after the holidays. Just go to srffitness.fitness.com. You'll get it. But regardless of the fact, I just want to say shout out to all the fans for plugging Ben's name and my name to this new federation. Keep at it. Hopefully, we rattle some more cages. They'll contact us and we'll get jobs, and then it is what it is. And if not, they're lost. But mad shout out to the fans. And thank you for the support.
Yeah, you guys have been real cool, man, hitting up AEW with all that stuff. And speaking of cool, Mike Hawes, you guys, 5,000 bits out of the gate, MH for you,
my man Mike, I love you.
Appreciate that, man. You're so generous with that stuff, dude. And I've been trying to spread it out evenly amongst all the talent that we have here, and it just took me a little time. So thank you. And
but the one thing we do have to say, though, even though the fans do support us, they go on Twitter, they tweet the Bucks and Cody and AEW and the Khan family to sign you and sign me. Just do us all a favor. Just $1 each. Just $1 each to the Stevie Richards
camera fund.
Moon
camera.
So we can get pictures of the moon, and we can get pictures of planets and all that nice stuff.
No, I'm sure everybody's happy that we get to look at the moon through that, what's the name, Greedo or whatever. What's that broad's name?
Jenna Frito. Can you flip your camera so I can see you, Sal?
It's
not on. Jenna Frito, man, she actually posted some new ones today, and they were so in depth that she pointed out two little things that looked like obelisks on the moon because they were cast in a shadow at like 11 o'clock. Can
I say something real quick?
Of course, it's your show too.
Buzz Aldrin said that there's an obelisk on the moon off of Jupiter, and no one's ever talked about it after he said it on a newscast.
You sure? I think it's the one on Mars, the moons of Mars.
Wasn't it Phobos?
Yeah.
Isn't there like three or four moons for Jupiter?
Oh,
maybe?
Is it? It might be. I could be wrong.
I don't know. Either Jupiter or Mars. Regardless of the fact, there's an obelisk there.
Yeah.
And no one talks about it. No one says boo.
This girl's in Buffalo, and she's shooting that high level on that. She's got the Nikon 900. Is that what it was, Stevie?
The P900.
Yeah. So you guys, those pictures she's doing are incredible, just from her backyard with normal light pollution. Even it's nuts.
Yeah. So after you guys get signed by Cody and the Bucks and AEW, then they can give me a call and then we can talk after that.
I'm only gonna get you. I'm gonna get you the second best camera in the business. I'm gonna get you the 800.
It is the second best. It is the second best zoom camera in the business. The P1000 is the greatest. So if you want to use those terms, it's odd though. You know what? Speaking of that, I mean, it's a good little segue before we get into the happy-go-lucky pedophile stories that we're going to go through. All happy endings. I mean, one way or another, I guess you can call them that. But the pole shift stuff has been very interesting lately, and Jacob Israel has been covering it on his channel. But man, it's like so mainstream. It's mainstream, but it's not mainstream. Like there's tons of articles on the internet. There might be one or two news stories, but it's not like getting the attention that it deserves. It's pretty big shit.
Well, are we starting this where we're going? Because
go ahead if you want to talk China and the moon, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just find all the shit how weird it is. Like, so the pedophile shit is getting covered by Rolling Stone. You know what I mean? Like, the John Bonet's killer by the confession from the pedophile, allegedly, yada yada yada. That's in fucking Rolling Stone. Shit about the moon, the Russia mountain collapse where Thor's hammer is. That's what happened, guys. Just spoiler alert. That's what happened. All this shit going down. Not a coverage, not a drop of information is on mainstream. But, Rolling Stone is covering in depth John Bonet's murder by this pedophile.
That's a tough standard hole because Forbes is covering wrestling. That's some of Forbes's biggest fucking things.
They are reaching. It's like, to me, I feel like they're falling off the cliff right before they join the rest of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And they're just grabbing for anything to grab an extra 600, 700 eyes.
Yeah, but it pisses me off because you got guys, and I was on a show with him, and he's a clueless fucker, Alfred Kunowa from Forbes magazine. But because it's got Forbes back in it, like instantly, this guy knows money, business, and fucking everything about it. Never worked in the business a day in his fucking life, but because of that, well, shit, it must be all peaches and cream. I'm just done with putting any of them over that have like what used to be an established accredited source behind them. They're all just marks now. I was going to bring up this picture.
What about that Yankee closer, Wetland, huh?
I have no idea.
Oh yeah, you didn't know? He got busted for molesting a little kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, let's bring that back when we get into there because I want to hear about that. Let's talk about the moon landing on China on the backside. People are saying phony or not, and it didn't seem too much like it wasn't. And then we saw HD video, supposedly. And what made me believe it is like we're descending, and then all of a sudden it's faster, and then it just stops. Well, you could actually see if somebody was trying to fake it, what it takes to land a pod on the moon is it starts to descend, and you have to hit the thrusters to slow it down to no speed, and then it goes down again, and then again right before they blast it again. So it was really believable to me. I mean, not that any video game engineer couldn't make that and make a believable phony video. They absolutely could. But I don't know. What are you guys thinking? I think we're there. I think they're there. I think they're on the backside. And I think America's shitting in their pants that Russia and China are hooking it up.
Well, Russia and China are hooking it up more ways than one. Besides working them together with the space programs, they're trying to take down the U.S. dollar and the petrodollar by trying to get their currency, the Yuan, I think it is QUAN or something like that, as an established currency that will be accepted for oil. And if that happens, obviously that's going to crush the U.S. economy. So that's one thing. So they're definitely in bed with each other. As far as the moon landing goes, I didn't see much on it. I did see a couple of things. It's funny how all those pictures of the moon's surface isn't gray, right?
No. And well, what's interesting too is they're doing experiments and already getting results in real time. They put these seed pods up there, and the cotton is growing on the moon.
Seed pods?
Potato seed pods. I'm sure there was potato seeds in there, or spuds of some type, root vegetable. But the cotton was growing in real time. Other ones weren't, but people were like, they're growing cotton on the moon to get their racist jokes in. But they sent, I'm sure, plenty of different, plants up there. But cotton seemed to be the first kind of by day 3 or 4, I think.
But look at China now. they're so technologically advanced. Didn't they just do teleportation? They didn't the first country to teleport photons into outer space recently in the last 6 months? And we were making all the Star Trek references, how they were able to beam from a photon from Earth to a space station up or wherever, somewhere in space, a satellite or a space station or something like that. So this is no surprise if they're on the backside of the moon with a rover.
Well, you know, there's a few articles here that are pretty interesting. I was searching to see if one was just isolated, but there's quite a few saying China lunar rover finds no evidence of American moon landings. So I don't know if that's just kind of like trolling or something China's putting up to say, hey, we really are the first ones. On the China front, it should come to no surprise that what Papadon just said, you know, I didn't hear about that till just now, but they pretty much have access to every single technological patent in the world because everybody makes their stuff in China because it's cheap. So why wouldn't they just kind of take a peek and see every bit of technology that comes through there to be manufactured? I'm sure even, I'm not saying it in any sarcastic way, Sal, I'm sure even CERN and other places that need things manufactured will go there because there's no environmental laws, there's no real tariff stuff, there's nothing to say you can't do that. It's pretty much the Wild West of technology. So they probably milked all that together over years and years and years and said, yeah, we can do it.
Well, you'd be a fool not to.
I mean, NASA, maybe even the United States technology agencies and stuff went to China to get stuff made cheaply.
Well, it's not just like, oh, fly to the moon tech. It's biotech. It's everything. Nanotech, right? All the way across the board for whether it's them being cloning. And that's where, what's her name? Had her 5 dogs cloned. The singer, Barbara Streisand, right? She had five dogs cloned in China, $100,000 a pop, dude. It's just they're so way ahead, and eventually it'll get here and just be demassified. It's a Wild West testing ground. It absolutely is exactly what you described it to be.
Yeah, one more point on that too is like China's scary as hell, not only from a financial standpoint and now looking at their technology, but dude, you're talking about a 1 billion man army. Like they're talking about like if they really did want to like mobilize the people to become soldiers. I mean, all they are pretty much just expendable collateral damage to the country.
We were talking Space Force. That was another story I saw related to that, is that they want to start taking over space, and they're going to be doing armed missions where satellites attack U.S. satellites for superiority, and they will just EMP them and make them space junk. Like, that's part of their MO, supposedly. I mean, that could be a propaganda piece, but after the moon landing, I saw that for sure. And here we are. What's well, there was 2 good trailers today that I saw. Papadon sent us Ghostbusters, which looks awesome, and hopefully a big save for the franchise after that last pile of shit they put out. But then the other thing was Space Force from the makers of The Office with Steve Carell coming to Netflix, right? So sure, it might be like half a rib on Trump so Hollywood can get their shit in, but how much of that is going to be real predictive programming where they're going to show us exactly here's the plan and we'll lay it out, but we'll do it with a laugh of that's what she said behind it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that's exactly what's coming to us.
I just entered the group chat the two articles about the teleportation of the photon from China, so you guys can check that out later.
Definitely will. Thank you.
Don Santino in the room asks, do you guys all believe in the things like Transformers sort of stuff? It could be real.
The fact that you can take and put some type of energy into a device like your microwave and it becomes a transformer, is that what you're asking us?
Don Santino in the room, is that what you're kind of asking? Like, if we had Ray's mood slime and we put it on a toaster,
would it?
Is that what it is? What are you asking about? Do we believe in Transformers? What do you like? How the movie Transformers? I believe that movie sucked balls, but
yeah. But all they had to do was shoot something with a ray and it became like that. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. I do believe in probably something that, like we had sent earlier in the week, like that Terminator type of gel that was able to be magnetically moved. You can make that at home. With iron filings and the right magnet type stuff. Like
how many YouTube videos were there of the magnetic slime on the guy's speaker, and it was all crawling and moving?
Right.
He did that in his house.
Yes.
So
And
this
so
is
now
long
if we're
before
there
any of
with
that.
liquid
stuff
metals that can be moved by nanobots and nanotechnology and electrical impulses, I think that shit's absolutely right there.
So stuff like being a robot alien race that has planets connecting devices
No.
to our planet,
No.
using the pyramids as a bridge. Now, wait a minute. Before you
I-
say no,
I gotta say yes.
yeah, I'm gonna go with the lights that we were talking about last time. I think those are gates. I thought those were us testing wormhole devices. That's
You mean
my
CERN?
opinion. No, I mean over the ones over Dublin, the ones over by New Orleans, the ones over New York.
Well, all those could be over Large Hadron Colliders. CERN isn't the only one. There's hundreds of them, right? But they're not as well known as that
But I
brand.
feel like those all had the same characteristics, and they were just in random places because I feel like, okay, we could test here, we could pop up here, we could test here. Either maybe even not organic material, even if it's just hardware that they could put through it. You know what I mean? Like if let's go by sci-fi rules, and you can only send organic or you can only send inorganic material. If you can drop off equipment in a spot that would have normally took you days to mobilize an armored column to get somewhere, but now you can drop it off with a gate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I
It
feel
could
like,
be.
I don't feel like it was an alien thing we saw that we were talking about, a dream or so. I feel like that was ours. Or when I say ours, I mean terrestrial.
Well, it was theirs, and we've just got our own Fisher
Version.
Price version of it now.
Right. we have our own 3D printer of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't feel Transformers are real.
Well,
don't
let me
stop-
put this over to
Stop
you then.
yelling at Don Santino. He was asking a question.
No, I'm
Not-
not yelling at him. He asked for my opinion. I'm giving my opinion. You
Not
don't have to be
necessarily that they're
bullied.
not real, like, oh, I'm going to transform into a tank or what was Optimus Prime, an 18-wheeler. But, Optimus Prime could have been a dude who we're moving very close as we trade more stories about chips in your arm as we move into transhumanism. And what if they come up with immortality, but we transfer consciousness into a machine? And this is exactly what we talked about. And I believe that could be Transformers, where they're machines with human consciousness embedded, like a General Grievous. Could be part. There's going to be a time where it's both bio and mechanical until it's completely digitized mechanical, which is the question: are you just a version 2 point whatever of what you really were when you were an organic animal? Steve?
Well, look, that
Yeah.
could be a possibility, but I'm saying today, right now, there's no such thing as Transformers on this planet, nor were there in the past. Because if there was, the military would have benefited off of it a lot sooner. And they would have obviously made those exoskeleton suits or, that alien type of thing like you saw in Aliens where they hop in and they fought the aliens, that big yellow exoskeleton, to fight wars in. Instead of sending troops on the ground, with
You're talking about Ripley's machine.
Yeah.
That was a mover. That was meant for dock work. They have those.
what I'm saying is, if Transformers were real and they were a real
Right.
alien race, the
Right.
movies are what is it called? Predictive programming.
Right.
The military-industrial complex would have benefited from it already. And now there's that now over the last 10 years they've been doing these exoskeleton suits and testing it, like the guy from Iron Man who kept failing to get the Iron Man armor. You know what I'm saying? In Iron Man 2 or 3 or whatever the fuck it was. But case in point is, I don't think that's the case. But I do agree with Ben though that down the road, I think you can transfer your consciousness into something inorganic, something that's machine-like, and live through that facet. But that's not Transformers. That's just transhumanism.
Well, I got to counter with the fact that that's what they're letting us see at this point, that they
Yeah.
don't have that capability. You got to remember that when drones came on the market for consumers, you have to think that they had it for at least 20 years, maybe 30 years, the ability to do that. UAVs were actually militarized 10 years before it got into the consumer, field. And then, if you've listened to John Lear, it talks about like holographic projections and the stuff that they can project audio, video, 3D, all that stuff, even back before 9/11. That's a fringe theory around the attacks, but that technology existed long before that. What was existing too in the 50s? like during the CIA was using and all that stuff that we didn't even know was consumer. I mean, they're talking about the small cameras, talking about our stuff that was around during the Cold War.
Yeah,
They
spy
might even
tech
be
like
more.
that's 30 years ahead of what it is. And the internet was around in the 50s. It was just supposedly for scientists to pass information, right?
Yeah,
Like,
one quick thing too is like, just because we don't see the military using it on mainstream media doesn't mean that they're not using an exoskeleton, doesn't mean they're not exploring transhumanism or the super soldier thing, which has been they've been dipping in and out of that in mainstream media for 15, 20 years, talking about ways to make soldiers stronger, not be able to sleep. That's why I pill them up.
how about the new Nikes that tie themselves and take a constant bio rate for you, right?
Oh, you don't like that? You don't like that
Oh
stuff?
God, no! You
Shane
know what it made me
McMahon's blood
think of?
pressure's super high. And
The Hellbop comic, the Hellbop comic
right
people.
now. Take me up right now and go to the hospital.
Fucking Marshall Applewhite's like, all right, everybody, suit up, and they
Yeah.
just step into the fucking Nikes, and they're like, all right, okay, yeah, your blood pressure's good. Guys, where's your blood pressure go, guys? Guys,
Ask right now, like we killed ourselves and like we don't even have the best Nikes anymore.
They should have called those the Hellbops and just to fucking get them over. Nike Hellbops. I'd have
Well, I
fucking
kept
bought them then.
imagining-
Fuck that.
they show this super fucking, I don't know if the guy's a basketball guy. I don't watch basketball, but like the basketball guy, throw them on and he's getting ready and he starts fucking running around doing his bit. And all I kept thinking about is he's not gonna wear them. It's going to be the fat kid who doesn't want to bend over and tie his fucking shoes that gets him. It's not going to be some super talented basketball guy, because what if the fucking things don't tie you as tight as you want them to? Oh, that doesn't give me ankle support. I broke my ankle because Nike didn't tie it tight enough. It's going to be the fat kid who's like, oh, I just got to get my shoes tight upstairs.
We're Nike. We'll tell you how tight you want your shoes tied.
Yeah, like go fuck yourself, Nike.
Can you critique or can you put over New Japan Wrestling while you're doing that imitation sound? Because it would be dead on. It'd be perfect. I would do a one-wing angel to my neighbor if I could get out of the couch. But you're leaning back like this is like more like you're like 3 beats away from the heart attack, but you just gotta troll somebody on Reddit and New Japan thread that says it's not believable.
Yeah. So if you're wearing the new Nike auto laces and you're on Grubhub, you might have a fucking problem in life, especially if you're watching
Take those
Japan.
fucking laces, put them around your neck so it automatically tightens and you fucking kill yourself. That's what you should do with those new
And
Nikes.
thanks for listening.
Oh shit!
Are they made in China too?
Of course they are.
You know what Chinese people really make well? Bands.
Babies? Oh,
No,
bands.
bands.
No, they don't
Right,
make
Stevie?
babies well. They were limited to only one each.
well, they have to be really good and make that boy, otherwise right in the fucking river
That's
with
it,
you.
right not in the well. That's why they're so up on everybody. They got wells just full of babies over
Justin
there.
French, fuck that. When you can just buy Crocs, that's it. Play your fucking basketball game in Crocs. Might as well.
So yeah,
Crap.
how
Real men
far
don't
how
wear
far are we
Crocs,
gonna go?
sorry.
I mean, an interesting
wait, what?
question. Interesting question of where we are. Transformers, I don't see that happening, but we are transforming into something different. And that's Ray Kurzweil predicted that in his books in the 60s. People say eventually we'll be atrophied bodies with bigger heads as we evolve
Wall-E.
more and more, which, puts us more towards the alien grays. Stevie's trying to slow that process down to keep you guys fit, make sure your body doesn't become atrophied, and as we try to speed up your mind as well at the same time.
And
Make
let
sure
me
you
say
pick up
something.
those self-tying Nikes though. That'll just cut
Let me
their-
let me say something on behalf of Stevie Richards Fitness. Okay?
Stevie, do you endorse this message?
We'll see what it is first.
You fucking momos out there will spend $100
No, I don't endorse it already.
on a t-shirt. You'll go spend $50 at a restaurant to go eat a fattening meal. You'll go spend $300 on a pair of Yeezy sneakers. But what Stevie's offering you,
And he's just
is
talking to you,
personal
most of the people at developmental at NXT.
one-on-one interaction via email where you can better your life, make yourself healthier, and it's not going to cost you an arm or a leg or a child in the well. It's only going to cost you a certain amount of dollars.
Papa
Please,
Don.
please do not contact Stevie and ask for free shit or
You
things that
forgot-
be on sale.
Yeah, you're not over.
Because you know
Also-
what, dude, you're not gonna get it.
You
Don't
also
waste your
forgot
time. Don't
to.
waste Stevie's time. You want
You'll-
bullshit? Go to DDP Yoga.
I endorse the
also-
last fourth of that message.
You also forgot to say you'll spend all that money on that stuff, and you'll spend an inordinate amount of money on a full all-access pass to All In, but you won't fucking go to Stevie Richards Fitness.
Yeah,
We couldn't even
Right.
buy one of those. Remember?
got blocked. I got banned from the bands.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
Hey, Dave, interesting. Thank you very much for popping on. And there are people investing every day, and I appreciate that. Russo's doing great with the program, and he's very, very happy, and he's
Bro,
he's
let me tell
evangelizing.
you, bro.
The
He
bands.
finally called them resistance bands after 6 months, so he's making progress.
Yeah.
This whole thing too, what we're talking about with the stuff Dramer talked about last week, the stuff in Ireland, New Orleans, and now it's really coming in the mainstream media about the pole shift. Do you think the pole shift is what your favorite theory would be, Ben, or do you think it's a combination between that and what we've done to open up these gates and kind of like shift a lot of stuff that we're not even aware of?
What if these gates aren't anything like that? They're just energy waves from Planet X, and they're hitting our atmosphere and making perfect circles and cymatics. They have nothing to do with what their imagination really is, and it is all just Planet X, where no, for 3 years. Now there's a new planet and another new planet, and hey, there's a dwarf sun, and it just
What about the galaxy that just
a
appeared?
galaxy that just appeared because people don't want to put over the Saturnalia stuff of the story that Saturn was once our sun as we moved forward until we came near this star and were pulled in. Well, that's pretty much exactly what's happening right now. And not just to us, to go in between Jupiter, massive collisions, and also the rings of Saturn are changing as well right now. There's no other plausible explanation of just by happenstance that all these things are happening at the same time. And we get headlines of the Earth's magnetic poles at the North Pole are moving, and we don't know why. The fuck you don't know why. Right? It's just
It's CERN.
yeah, well, it's just a soft lead in for Nancy Brown and all of her cunt friends.
course.
And like, here's a spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down. But let's talk about, what doomsday plans there really are. And as we saw, possibilities 6 months in America with no electricity. That came out, December 3rd, I think that plan dropped to the public of what happens if we're in it. These things just don't come out of like, well, what if we did? We're just fucking around. No, they know what's coming. And I believe that you're going to see how small you really are, what your power grid that you rely on every day, your plumbing, how cordial you are with people at the store, how quickly that will fucking go out the window when the search for fresh water and food really happens because of inertia and our whole planet changes overnight. It possibly could, because as we keep pushing this centimeter by centimeter, as they say, oh, it moved only 1.5 centimeters. That seems like a tiny amount, but that's one click closer to when the load really breaks the camel's back. And then what really happens when one big jar, right? We're getting closer and closer to tipping points. What happens when it finally falls over?
Goes boom.
Yeah, it does.
What would happen 6 months? No conspiracy horsemen. The only other bright side for you guys would be 6 months, no Raw or SmackDown because there's no electricity. So it kind of accepts itself. But then what else are we going to do?
Russo clap on that one. Yeah, man. Hope you guys have been here. Hopefully you can find your way. I will keep you alive.
Do you think Vince would still have shows? But they'd be like shoot dark matches?
Well, it's the same as, be probably about the same crowd they got now. American Tarp.
Mutants eating each other,
Yeah.
watching.
Oh, call me, Vince.
If you can.
That's
There's
gonna
not going to
happen.
be any electricity. You'd probably just be better off showing up in Stanford because the locks on the doors won't work anymore, and you can just walk right in and walk up to his office. There's going to be nobody stopping him.
Like, hey, pal.
Yeah.
He's going to call GGP. He's like, let's see. Let's look at the list here. Oh, Papa Don, all right. As the world is hit with the EMP and everything goes fucking black, and he's like, oh bullshit.
Hey, this is Vince. Yes, Vince. Yeah. You want to sign me to a deal? How much? You
Hello?
want to know right now? Yes or no?
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me? No!
Your ass would be walking to
You'd
Stanford
all
if
hear
you
the
had to.
scream.
It'd be like you guys all feel the freaking tremors in the Force,
So,
like Obi-Wan did. With
well,
Alderaan.
you want to talk about the Force and the ability of what it can possibly do. What force is enough to drive a 100-yard wedge through the center of a mountain out of nowhere in Russia? What is going on? What is going on with some type of directed energy weapon? As I just watched Solo yesterday, and they had that super fuel that took out a mountain, and then it wasn't an hour after that I saw that Secure Team video where a mountain was destroyed. I was like, something is fucking crazy in my world right now. So, Stevie, what do you think about that, man?
I think we've heard all this stuff. Like I forget the guy's name back in 2017 that said Planet X is coming September, October, and that was like his third.
Yeah,
that was like that was like his third prediction.
Right.
And it starts to become a boy cried wolf syndrome. And when you know it's going to happen, and then somebody, the conspiracy theorists are out there predicting this and keep coming out with it, hoping that this time I'm going to be right. Whenever you're going to be right, but most everybody's going to be fucking dead. So, like me, I don't know why. What are you going to get for that?
Right.
You want a cookie? I mean, but yeah, I think this time for this year,
David Mead.
It just seems like the hints and the events are just stacking up and stacking up and stacking up to where something's going to happen. And I would really encourage people more to listen and watch Jacob Israel, because everyone else who says, like, including you, Ben, the planet's going to fucking explode and Sal's up in space watching it happen, and all these other people, I would like a better thing of a new beginning, a more positive type of viewpoint on that. Because it is like, we're popping on in my faith, the Catholic and the Christian religion are the worst of all for doomsday prophecies, and saying that when this happens and this happens, that means the end of the world, the judgment day is coming, all this stuff. So they're fear porn more than any conspiracy theory out there. So I would just hope that if anything is going to happen, that all the cats of the world will survive.
They could be the last survivors. In the chat room, the House of Moth, why don't you guys put links to the stuff you're talking about? Mountain in Russia? Shoot me a link, LOL. Hey, the link is google.com or Secure Team 10 if you need to watch the videos. I'm not your fucking mother, but I will give you a $5
You want us
face
to hold
slap.
your little peepee when you go peepee too, kid? Come on. You want to be a researcher and a free thinker? Do yourself.
It's on www.meatspin.com.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I think, Stevie, the true reality of what they're about to learn is never going to come. Like, the Planet X, the put off for whatever happened in Queens, whatever's going on in Ireland, are the aliens really a savior for us, that are coming to let us know before Planet X and impending death arrives? All these little sidebar things, instead of people actually just being like, okay, what really happens if, because of a rogue planet, it doesn't have to be all this. I mean, we love the fantasy and the hype of it because that's what we do. But how do you really survive a rogue planet that's going to tilt your fucking planet off its axis and give you another great flood, massive earthquake, dinosaur, kayfabe dinosaur extinction? Because that's the reality of what we're dealing with. The story, whether it's Catholic Church with their doomsday prophecies, has been told over and over again. If you cut through the emotion and bullshit, it's just the roadmap of it's going to come around again. So are you going to be ready? And here's a little warning for it. But they just play the puppet master with the fear to keep you in line. I mean, that's their whole fucking MO.
I swear to God, just real quick, we are so desensitized as a society. Planet X could be. The scientists have already said there is a planet here. They've been saying it for coming around, or it's coming, or it's here. All these other things are happening, and more meteorites are coming into the atmosphere. All this other stuff's happening. The pole is shifting, and I was like, "Oh, cool! What's on TV?" Like it could literally be in our sky, and somebody will say, "No, that's just a blood moon. It's not a red planet." Oh, okay.
How about that? Did we ever have that when we were kids? Blood moon, wolf moon,
Yes.
wolf blood.
Yes.
Like I don't remember that like being a thing to like go out and look at
when
this.
you got the red moons meant it was going to be hot the next day. That was the big thing. I remember that as a kid.
So, all right, I haven't heard that folklore, and I'm not trying to dispel it. I just don't remember it being a celestial event thing where it became. I mean, we didn't have the internet, so that could be the whole purpose.
No, that came
why.
from the Farmer's Almanac.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it was never like on the news when I was a kid of like it's a wolf moon tonight. Da da da. Like all of these occurrences.
It's fun it's clicky. You get to be a nerd. All these assholes who are like, I'm a science nerd. I have a weather machine in my yard because I'm a science nerd. Nobody gives a fuck. But now it's common. It's cool. So everybody's doing it. You can't go. Like, think about this. Aside from like the guy growing up in New York, I know us guys. Who we had, like Storm Field.
Sam Champion.
Well, no. Now. When we were kids.
Oh yeah.
Who do we have? We had like Storm Field. And
meteorologist Wayne Mahar.
Yeah, so like we knew our local guys. Like now they're celebrities because they're weather people.
Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, right. Like those are the guys who dropped the. But now it's a thing to be a super smart guy, and this guy's our little genius. Like guys like Bill Nye. Guy was a TV show host. And
he's not even a real scientist. Dolph Lundgren is more qualified to be a scientist than he is.
Gene Simmons is more qualified to be but that's what I'm saying. Like, now these guys are celebrities because it's in. So now any celestial thing these guys are in on, and it's making the news because they got to get their bit. Oh, we have a hot weather girl. Let's let her talk about the wolf moon. Who gives a fuck what it is?
Howl for me, baby. Howl.
Right. So, but that's what I'm saying. It's like.
Hey, speaking about celebrities, scientists, whatever happened to Neil deGrasse Tyson? He's disappeared like a fart in the wind ever since the sex scandal.
Yeah, a little allegation, and he fucking pulled his dates, right? That's not a good.
You figured he'd be right on the forefront right now with all this stuff going on. That's another thing too. Like this guy, I'm just so like, it's just so. It feels like when he's asked even a tough question, it feels like as a worker that he's just making shit up and kind of deflecting everything. Like he's already like, you could ask us, I'm not like, even if it's something about wrestling, something that we all have experience in and we've seen it. If you say, hey man, what happens this and this, we're even going to go, yeah, well, okay. All right. Yeah. But he's like, when someone says something like, oh yeah, it's like this equation and that research shows and this and that. And if you come back and say, well, I didn't find anything. Oh, you weren't looking hard. Like, it's just the bullshit is piled up. Dude, I don't even know if that fucking dude's alive anymore. I can't find any current stuff with him. He's been scrubbed.
Yeah.
Same thing with religion. Father, I've sinned. Give 10 Hail Marys. Give 10% of your income. We need a new roof. You'll be forgiven. Guy talked to God. He says, don't worry, you're forgiven. Same shit. Religion, science, same.
Or was he chosen? Was he the chosen one to be the African-American face of science, digestible by everybody? And what does it take to get in that club? If they say, hey, we're going to put you on every show, bro, you're going to be the guy, but you got to go in this back room over here and finger blast this 8-year-old in the ass. The fact that he's gone silent, and the fact that he, especially while all this is going on, like you said, Stevie, that he's persona non grata.
He's watching it fucking.
Oh, dude, he's like, every time he sees one, he's like, fuck, there's a $140,000 appearance I left. I left that money on the table because he banged 2 whores in a hotel room in Atlantic City.
Picking up all of his old spots, and he's calling them on Skype, and he's like, oh, hey, where are you? Oh, I'm in Oklahoma. That gig they had to drop out of, I picked up, and he's just fucking hating life.
Do you think though that he had to do the Eyes Wide Shut? And not that Bill Nye didn't either, just Bill Nye hasn't been called out on it yet. Those guys got made pretty fucking quickly, and you don't get that paycheck without being in the club.
What's funny is the one guy that doesn't even seem like he has as many, he hasn't done anywhere near as much research. He might be at work too, I'm sure. Is Elon Musk comes off 10 times smarter than Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's actually he's applied his knowledge through technology to do things to one degree or another.
My thought of Neil deGrasse is, what if he didn't do the bit? You know what I mean? Like, what if he didn't do the Eyes Wide Shut thing, and that's why he got caught and fucking downed, because he didn't sign on. So they were like, "Oh, cool, really cool. Oh, look at these two whores we caught you with. What's going on here?" So now he's out. Now he's out of the club.
I'd believe that 100%.
Yeah. Well, I think if they got caught with whores, they'd be pumped about it because they could hold it over his head to make him dance. But after Cosby shot down and him to go into hiding like that, that's pretty telling in the locker room, right? Caught with your pants down, you're gonna fucking stay small, get the fuck out of the way, and hopefully
That's the thing now.
Hopefully the heat passes back. Kevin Spacey cuts another promo.
He got caught with two whores, and on the list of shit going on, that's not terrible. So
yeah,
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah,
that's not terrible.
Stevie, which two whores were they?
Oh, I don't know.
What were their names?
What were they?
Saturn and Uranus.
Wow.
Nice.
That's how they lost the rings because he, finished on them.
Oh man, yeah, guys.
Fucking one of the ants. The best I can come over.
It was all strong. It was all strong.
I looked on the internet, and that's true.
My sources came in and told me that.
So
You should post the link.
Dude,
Post
Yeah,
the link.
post a link to it, dude.
Imagine if wrestling websites would cover our show with the clickbaity titles like
Holy fuck.
Stevie Richards shoots on Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Richards knows Tyson's whores.
Inside information on the sexual
How,
misconduct.
no, how does Stevie Richard know Neil deGrasse Tyson's horse? Like Stevie was there, like he was part of it, like he's on the
Set
inside.
him up.
Yeah,
He's directing.
you really got to
Okay,
clickbait
you over
these.
here, you over there.
Pop it on tweets Cody Rhodes.
Stevie uses gimbal in horror films.
Yeah. His shoot name is actually Gimbal Richards in the films. That's why Q Gimbal.
Gimbal was
purchased-
defective, by the way.
Stevie Richards purchased a well building company for some strange reason. Builds well in his backyard.
That's it. Well, let's move on back. Well, let's not move on. Let's go back to that because we kind of glossed over Russia, man. For those, because we got hot at somebody who asked us to post some shit instead of doing your research. But yeah, the story is that pretty much one night a mountain is there, and the next night there's a fucking huge trench 100 yards wide through the center of it, and it just collapses with no known mining or anything of that nature underneath, nor earthquake to kind of set it in motion. And a lot of people are saying that they saw UFOs within the 48 hours of that, and that they believed it was a major UFO crash and some type of release of energy, which, if you watch Solo, the whole thing is about a big fuel heist when they drop a fucking one container of it and it legit blows the fuck out of a mountain exactly like that one. It looks almost identical. And it was just too much in my imagination to see that and then have that story play out within the same 48 hours. Let's go to our local Star Wars on the scene expert here, GGP. What are you thinking on this one, man?
Well, I'm thinking Solo was a very tremendous movie, possibly one of the best movies since Disney took over their franchise and the brand from George Lucas himself. But aside from that fact, I mean, listen, we had blue lights over in fucking Astoria 2 weeks ago, okay? To the point where Tommy Dreamer was questioning reality. Tommy Dreamer, the guy who freaking chews hair, and drinks fucking, people's backwash, And then you have other scenarios around the world. You have a hole in the earth in Russia that's the deepest hole in the world. Then you have mountains, the mountain that got chopped in half where there's there's so many things that has happened. Look at the Grand Canyon. You think the Grand Canyon is naturally formed? No, of course not. No, not at all.
Well, no, I'm saying, could that be from the last time Planet X came around and you're talking major impacts with fucking...
Listen, it could be CERN. It could be Planet X. It could be CERN. Every time CERN runs a test...
Could be tremor worms. You don't know.
It could. But it could be CERN. Every time they run a test, they're colliding galaxies together now. Just like bringing the multiverse together. And maybe they don't know that they're doing it. And every time something happens, look at the cities that were appearing in the skies in China.
You really think if they did something like that, they wouldn't know they're doing it? Come on. Smart enough, kid.
What happened to the lady that was called Mother that disappeared just like that? After that, why did they continue to keep doing tests?
Yeah.
Why? Because there's money involved. That's why.
Clothing left behind, body gone.
Like Obi-Wan Kenobi, gone. Just like that.
Right,
Come on,
but like the way you're saying it, you're like, oh, okay.
I'm
Well,
just saying.
what if they're colliding the universe? They don't know it. Do you think they don't know it? Do you think they've spent all this time, money, brain power on building these items, these objects that you constantly fear and badmouth? Do you think they build these things without research, without
Yes.
knowing what they're doing?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Sal,
Out of your minds.
do you believe that is man-made, engineered from the ground up, or that that's alien technology passed on?
I think it might be both. It might be.
Why?
Here's the idea. Here's the idea of how to do this, of what to do. You do it.
There just isn't any precedent of like we're going up the ladder. That shit was just like we're working on it for 10 years. It's done. Flip the fucking switch, Tom.
I don't think so. But here's
Tom?
the thing. No.
Where's Tom?
Here's the deal. We don't know. Okay. Want to get about we're going to talk about it later because it'd be like a funny thing. But so I sent you guys a thing about CERN. They're doing they're building the collider it's 60 times stronger than the current collider. Okay, and they plan on it being done by 2040. Okay, that's their projection. Now, aside from us, and because you're constantly busting balls on those fucking hardworking people. Do you think the world is going to know about that?
Not
No,
until
What are you talking
No.
about?
The world in general know about CERN's plans to build a collider that is going to be 60 times stronger than the Large Hadron Collider.
not until they're ready. Not until Tom's ready to flip the switch. They're not going to.
Exactly. So for you to say this shit just appeared, no, it didn't. They were working on that for a long fucking time.
Yeah, but the only way they can get any test results is through trial and error. So
Right.
guess what? First time they do it, some weird phenomenon happens. Was it an effect from the test? I don't know. Let's do it again. Something else happens.
Called the
Could it be a
control.
Could it be a coincidence? I don't know. Let's do it a third time. Well, nothing
Right.
happened a third time. Mandela effect instead happened. Oh, well, let's try another time, a fourth time. This, so on and so forth. What's the point of trying to create black hole and antimatter that could possibly engulf
What
Earth?
is it? You know what it is because Sal, like I know we're bust balls back and forth, and we're just talking about the technology side, and we love the fantasy and the pageantry, but so do they. Everything they do has a fucking artistic, strange,
Yes.
open portal demon component to it. Every fucking thing from sacrifices in the parking lot to
Shiva.
the Shiva to the fucking Doomsday Dance to the Gothard Tunnel to
I
the
guarantee
ballet.
Every one of those fucking
everything they
nerds'
did.
passwords are like fucking Obi-Wan 12 and Hail
How about in the LHC
Like,
rap?
I'm
Even when they
sure.
show the guy, he fucking holds up a Mandela effect sign years before it was even anything. They know something, Sal, that's beyond the scope.
You're saying years before it was anything. It was something to them for a long time. They were the innovators of this garbage.
Because they caused it.
I'm not saying they didn't, but like you guys, but the way you're saying, you're like, oh, what if they did it and they didn't realize it? Do you think they take those kind of chances? They
Yes.
don't.
Yes.
I think,
every time they
I
do.
think really
Every
quickly,
time.
this is all based. We had such a technological jump. We're talking about how there's hidden technology even going all the way back to the 50s and maybe prior to that. The Bob Lazar documentary is coming out soon. This is all based in my belief, in my opinion, on trying to reverse engineer the alien technology. That's where you run into trouble because it is unpredictable because you're reverse engineering something. You don't know where you're going. You kind of see it, but that gap in between where you can bring it back to where our feeble mind compared to these people, these aliens, we can't have that understanding of what the consequences are. There's people out there saying that they're not hundreds. They might be thousands, tens, or hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of years ahead of us. And they've already fucked up. They've had this primitive kind of fuck up that we're kind of going through right now or experimenting with.
Yeah, we're
Maybe
still
they
on
know-
some nap time piss in your pants shit, even our smartest people, compared to a civilization who is 10 million years
Well-
ahead of us and have done this, right?
Well,
Are
mostly
already
because-
transformers.
Mostly because our education system is basically less than three-dimensional. We're so far inside the box with our history, with our education. We're now just really even kind of embracing quantum physics, quantum mechanics, but it doesn't mean we truly understand what's on the other side of knowing that. You know, we're still stuck on like saying, okay, everything's based on zeros and ones. It's all binary. Dude, there's a fucking multiverse out there, according to these guys. There's multiple dimensions beyond our own. How can we still be turn around saying, yep, that's right, fucking Common Core math. That's what we got.
Exactly. Perfect
Put it this
point.
way: Thomas Edison allegedly invented the light bulb, right? Whether it's Tesla and he stole the idea, whatever. But the famous saying he says was, "It took me 10,000 tries to come up with the light bulb." Well, on my 10,001st try, I found out how to do it. He goes, "Well, how do you deal with 10,000 failures?" He goes, "I didn't fail 10,000 times. I just proved that I couldn't do it 10,000 times." So within those 10,000 times, he burned a finger, he blew a fuse, he caused a fire, but he still went back.
Killed an assistant. It
Could have, yeah.
Stole it from Iraq. Yeah.
Right. There's a chaos. He stole it from the pyramids. All of that. It's just, to me, that all fits into that chaos theory, the Jeff Goldblum chaos theory from the movie. You know what I mean? Like, that's as real as anything. You know, you could take all the science you want and have every X, every O, every 1, every 0, and there will be something that could fuck things up. That you cannot account for, which you have to account for.
Right. And just to go back to your point, though, I think they're flipping switches over there. They might know 60%, but that 40%,
okay.
They're like, we'll see.
Yes, that is true.
Give me another Tom. Give me Tom number 7.
Tom's gone again.
Hey, now when he says flip the switch, Tom, you got to keep Dreamer's voice out. Okay.
Okay.
Tom, he flipped the switch. No.
What did you say? Did you say
Flip the switch?
Did you say
No.
eat the switch? Eat the switch. Okay.
I love you guys. Goodbye.
That's when CERN is, when he's dream smashing.
Yeah.
When he dream smashes, they're saying, we're just about to do the most famous, like we're about to do the biggest test. It's 2040. It's 60,000 times stronger. And he turns around, he says, did you pay the light bill?
I hate you guys. I can't stand any of you.
Let's get out of this building. We don't live here. All right.
Oh, I'm so fat. I want to go.
So switching gears here, guys, from Tommy Dreamer, Hadron Collider, Master Shoot Theater. The main MO of what we kind of shared this week in Horseman Chat, which you're not privy to unless you want to. We may have to put Mike Hawes in his own private one after all the bits he's donated. But, we trade so many links every day and, like, kind of get the spark for a show as the week goes on of, like, oh, this dot connects to that one, and we kind of get a loose format that we all agree on. What we saw in the last week was pretty crazy of a long and ongoing conspiracy of one we've been asked about a lot, which is obviously JonBenet Ramsey, huge National Enquirer, Nancy Brown conspiracy, taking it all the way to the clueless who don't want to believe anything but just the salaciousness of this little girl who was, as we judge, being exposed to these pageants, and right away you have a fucking preconceived notion of who her parents are. And then, doing that kind of stuff is food for pedophiles, to even have 3-year-olds competing in pageants, I think is a sick and twisted thing in my mind. And then everything that surrounded it, where they tried to put it on the brother, they tried to put it on the neighbor, the father, the mother of insurance and all this kind of stuff. But this week we actually have a pedophile who's in prison who did a confession saying that he is the one who did it. He was in love with her, and it made his life worth living every day. And apparently when he had snuck in and was doing whatever he did, mishandled her, and she fell and hit her head, but he cops to it. Now, is this a not a copycat, or I guess
Who was the other
there's a legal
fake
word.
Pedo?
When you're claiming to be the person who did the crime, I guess I'm not sure what the legal term is. Chat room, help me out if you got it. But it's interesting because no one's really disputing it. And the big part of what happened later on was that they found the DNA of an unknown man on JonBenet Ramsey. And now here we are, what was it? Probably 22 years later, 23 years later, since this happened. And You know,
John Mark Carr.
John.
That was the other guy, John Mark Carr,
Yeah.
the guy who was like, "Oh, I was in love with her, I killed her," and he was in Thailand fucking little kids when that was going on.
So Boulder, Colorado, Boulder Police Department says there are no new updates in the investigation into John Benet Ramsey's death following a reported confession that has been shared widely online on Thursday. Daily Mail TV published a story that convicted pedophile had confessed to accidentally killing the 6-year-old Boulder girl in 1996. In letters from prison, a 54-year-old Gary Oliva reportedly told a friend, I never loved anyone like I did John Benet, yet I let her slip and her head bashed in half, and I watched her die. It was an accident. Please believe me, she was not like other kids.
Bullshit. I think
And
it's
this guy
bullshit.
is, I mean, everything. You can look him up, Gary, Oliva. It'll come right up as the
Dude,
the
there's
piece
so
of
many
shit
fucked
who's-
up things about that short statement. It's like,
Yeah.
he's admitting that he did these terrible things, but he's almost defending her like people are burying her online. Like, hey, please don't, no more hate for John Benet. She was different than other kids. Like, what the, dude, that thing is so twisted. Just that short little thing. I mean, it's weird. There was a lot of really kabuki-ish stuff about the parents too, wasn't there? There was a lot of weird stuff.
Well, I mean,
surrounding
if
that.
you're way into those pageants and you're doing that and whoring your kid out at age 3, you're fucked up to start with. I don't care who it is. And I know people I'm talking about too. And I know they don't listen to this, so I don't care. But their priorities are fucked up. It's some shit of, I never got to live my dreams, so from the jump, I'm going to live vicariously through my child. And I watched one of those kids go from age 3 doing that to age 16. Can't fucking stand her parents now. Moved out of the house, the whole nine. Like emancipated. You're setting such a fucked up precedent from the jump. I'm not saying all, but
I didn't know Triple D was in beauty pageants when he was a little
oh,
kid.
you saw his mailman shorts that he wore to Albin. Of course he is.
Yeah. So how many of these beauty pageant girls do you think are like future like women's champions or GMs of SmackDown?
Zero.
Oh.
Zero.
They have that much sense after all that?
No,
That's what I
they
meant.
they just burn up. They just burn them out so early. By the time they're 15, 16, they're done. Otherwise, they're just like shells of themselves, and that's their whole persona in Texas. Like keep that perpetuating that fucking terrible persona, you know.
Oh, well, that's the two ways you go. If you're a boy, you play football. If you're a girl, you do pageants. So like, and either you become fucked up, or you end up in college and then become a fake human being.
Yeah.
You know, those are your two ways.
We
to
just
go.
in my shoot job had a party like post holiday because they had to be at work for Christmas for a whole entire prison for the COs. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of dudes that I know, but like it was just like the who's who of who was an awesome high school baseball player. It was like, you know, like that's you peaked there, bro. Like that's it now. You know, they're still talking about home runs they hit 17 years ago at the party. It's a sad thing. And it's a strange thing that people put that on their kids, and it's not any type of get out of jail free card for this guy that, you know, you're sexualizing a 3 to 6 year old, but the parents aren't helping that by any means, you know, trying to put makeup on a 3-year-old and parade them around under the lights. That's just uber fucked.
You know what's funny about that analogy you just gave? Today is so much different. Like we talked about when we first started the show that we were kind of ostracized or at least laughed at in separate locker rooms because we were so different. But I tend to think because of the path we took with pro wrestling that we were different in school as well. We didn't quite fit in. We were different we weren't quite fitting in with the crowds all the way. But back then you were it's almost like now you're glad you were such an individual and stood out and had different thoughts. Do you think now with society, it's got to be in the 90 percentile or closer to 100 where you're not allowed to be an individual. You're not allowed to think differently. You could offend somebody. You can't be that. If you're that weird, nerdy kid like I was who was quiet in the corner, they're going to say, he's going to shoot the school up, fucking arrest him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just sitting in the corner here. I don't want to be bothered because you're all dicks. I don't want to be around anybody.
Go ahead, Sal.
Does that make sense? Like today, everybody's probably going to be afraid. I mean, the wrestling product we see today kind of is that age group of people that are kind of just falling in line with the cookie cutter shit and not being any different.
Yeah, it's okay. Like I know growing up, if you did certain things that I guess are fucked up, I guess you call them fucked up. When I drew a lot of fucked up pictures of monsters, and I drew fucked up pictures of people being eaten by monsters and heads getting cut off. And I was sent to a school psychiatrist about it. But at the same time, they were like, okay, it was all handled, and it was, let's put him in the AP art class. And we did that. So great. Hey, there you go. All right. Boom. Miss Eskenazi's class. So that's where I wound up. That's for Papa Don for the PS138.
No, I was just heating on Miss Eskenazi.
Yeah. A lot of PS138 shout out. But to have that happen now, that any sort of creativity that is offensive or scary to someone else will be shut down. There will be no outlet for that.
Unless
those outlets become internalized. And that's where I think kids are going to get dangerous. That's where it's going to get weird. That's where I think things are going to change. And the fact that they want to make everybody an individual by like forcing it. They want to make everybody a superstar by forcing the fact that everybody wins. Nobody loses here. All of you are just as good as anyone else. Like that sort of shit where everybody thinks they're good. Everybody thinks they have talent. Everybody thinks they're special and they're just like everyone else. Whereas we were different for a reason because we had different thoughts or different ideas, or we were quiet and didn't want to be bothered, or we were, whatever our reasons were, whatever those reasons were, that's going to be gone. Now it's everybody is just as good as everyone else. Everybody's wonderful. You're all superstars. And there isn't a culmination. There isn't a cultivation of creativity. There isn't a, kind of, oh, that kid's a little weird, but he's a great, you got to hear him on the guitar. It's going to be, he's going to commit suicide. He's mad.
Oh, you hear him on the guitar and then somebody's going to cry because they're not as good, that it makes them feel bad that he's so good. And they're going to say, please don't be so good. You're hurting
please
people's feelings.
Don't play the guitar here.
Because they're fucking lazy and they don't dedicate any time to their craft. And that just breeds jealousy, and that's what brings everybody's acumen down, because those are all defense mechanisms to make somebody feel bad about, instead of saying yes and coddling them to push them forward and be great, we just judge and rip it down. When it comes to the John Bonet, I don't know, what do you want to call him? I guess claimant, murder, I guess.
Fanboy.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Like, do you guys believe that this guy is the one? I mean, to me, the fact that you've got the opportunity. You know what the DNA is identified. Why isn't this being followed up on right now? That's an why aren't they just drawing blood on this guy day one and doing, you're not a DNA match, shut the fuck up, and dispelling it. Instead, it's sat out here for 6 or 7 days now.
Because, go ahead.
No, go
I
ahead,
was
Bob.
gonna say it's the same reason why we haven't gone after Hillary Clinton yet. We have so much damning evidence on our laptop, from Wiener's laptop at the NYPD, because there's so many people involved that if she goes down, other high officials are going to go down. So I'm pretty sure that some way, form, or fashion, that if this they test him and it is him, then it's going to open up Pandora's box. If they test it and it's
Really?
not him,
How so? Because I don't see that. To me, that's like a fucking blank check write off for them. I'm like,
That's
oof,
what I'm
got our
saying,
fucking hands clean of that one. Even if to me, if we had botched it, if we were on Botchamania as much as they were, and this guy fucking gives us the golden egg, and we can fucking write it off and blame it on him and put this one away, it seems like they'd want to do that, and they're not making that move, which is a strange
But now
locker
they gotta
room
be
move to me.
super careful, especially because, like I said, that guy John Carr, he showed up and everybody went, "Oh, that's it, we got him," and they put all the eggs in the basket on this, and then they were like, "Let's DNA this motherfucker." They brought him back from Thailand, and they were like, "All right, fuck this guy." Oh wait, it's not him. DNA says no. DNA says not even close.
Do you think it
And then
might
they
have
were
been?
like,
Do you think
oh.
it might have been Sean Carr, PPW champion, former 2CW?
I think it was. Wait, yes, it was him.
It-
Sean
it's
Carr
kind of
murdered John Benet Ramsey. Take
kind
him
of
straight
fun.
to the bank.
it's
And
kind of
there's your
funny that the guy
headline.
has 3 names, right?
Well, that's, and the guy looked. If you see the guy, just look the guy up.
Yeah, he's fucked.
Look it up on Google, House of Moth. And the guy is fucking creepy as shit. Like, he looks like a fucking Like he just has the face of a pedophile.
He looks like he'd be banging a
wanna see this guy
6-year-old
go.
and fucking crack her in the back of the head with a brick and then sit there and watch her die. He fits the fucking profile. There's no doubt about it. The story of the lack of detail of she slipped, busted her head open, and I just sat there and watched her bleed out in writhing pain. Like why is this not being followed up on, Stevie? Why?
Was it?
I don't know. It's just it's that strange statement where he puts her over. She's different than other kids. It's like, wait a minute, you fucked other kids? What are you doing? You know, that would be the first question I would have from that statement if I was a cop. And if you're confessing to it,
I loved her.
there's some kind of goofy legal like minefield here, I think, where if the cops aren't acting on it, because he's in Rolling Stone, that was the first article that came up when I Googled the deal. Right? The chat room, Google it. So if that first thing that comes up and he's in Rolling Stone, wouldn't you think the cops would go to him, or the news people would go to the cops and say, what are you going to do about this?
Right.
This guy's doing these interviews. It's not on mainstream media at all. It's almost like
sorry, I just gotta interrupt you because you get a great point right here. How shitty are you? And you want to have confidence in the media. You see Acosta getting fucked over by Trump in the press corps. Here is a fucking golden goose, and you are not going to follow up on this as a journalist who has no name whatsoever. Like Stevie just said, that alone is step one of like something is rotten in Denmark. Go ahead, Stevie.
No, but that's what I'm going to say. This has all the earmarkings, two different situations, but this reminds me of Sandy Hook in a way where everything seems to be shut down and media blackout and all this stuff in that area in Colorado. And it's been like that since this has happened. Outside of talking to the parents and everything very contained within the family, there hasn't been this manhunt to find evidence. There hasn't been the cops looking, no media covering them working 24/7 or following up like, what do you got? What do you got? What do you got? They're not embedded. Like they're embedded outside of Mar-a-Lago when Trump golfs at his fucking resort.
Right.
But they're not embedded right now in Colorado saying, we need to get some answers. We need to find this guy and sit down on 2020 or Nightline and interview this fucking
You'd
guy.
make yourself as an independent journalist. Why the fuck is nobody taking a step forward?
Because they got duped last time. They won't do it again.
Who gives a shit? Look, we're talking about it. Look at the clickbait alone. If you were an independent journalist at Hameen Media and you fucking went and interviewed that guy because everybody else has got their dick in their hands just for some clickbait and they're too fucking lazy to do it or follow up and do actually journalism rule 1, like, dude, these are gifts that no one is putting anything out there for.
Well, you want to go fly to Colorado? All four of us will interview him.
You could make a media empire on an interview like that.
You'd have to hold me back because I'd fucking kill him.
I imagine it'd be behind glass, but yeah.
Well, but Papa, now imagine if, like Sal said, why now? And why come out now after all this time? What's going on? Like, there has to be some agenda, some angle, or something. Like, you can't go, like, what if you wanted to kill the other guy and they found out he is a piece of shit, maybe, but he didn't do this? What if this guy now is like, well, it hasn't been talked about in a while, so I'm going to bring it up because I can't see anybody admitting to this and saying, yeah, take me to jail where they treat pedophiles really good.
Yeah.
And
He must
write
be
it out
under.
that.
Sorry, Sal, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. I'm just saying, like, especially to write it out in a narrative like that. I loved her more than anybody. Like, come on, seriously, dude. Like, who would do that? Especially if he's done a lot of kids, you know, the way this is laid out, that apparently this guy is.
Yeah, that's what he's serving time for. Yeah.
Right. He's a convicted pedophile, and he's in this. He's in the clink. You don't send it to another fucking inmate being like, "Oh man, she was the one I loved. This one specifically." Because here's the deal: you're a pedophile. And you're in jail for it. You know how to keep your mouth shut. You know, that is your life as a pedophile.
Hey, fuck it, dude. This week, do we reach out? Do we see what the channels are to fucking possibly get a word with this guy on the phone?
Shit? Yeah.
Whether it's
get him on the show.
Yeah.
Do you think he's doing it just to fucking make himself famous?
Yeah, is it delusions of grandeur? That's what I was going to propose.
We'll see the work a mile away.
Sure.
We'd see it.
Change his scenery. Get him out of it. Maybe he had somebody coming down on him in that place. So he was like, "Get me the fuck out of here."
Absolutely could be. Very. I mean, these are the points you're going to get from locker room veterans, not fuck faces who don't see the bigger work of everything of what somebody's ulterior motive is, because that's what we do, you guys. That's why we're the Conspiracy Horsemen. Great points all around, gentlemen. Go ahead,
But
GGP.
to be fair, I mean, look how fucked up the world is today. You know, I know you guys just say we didn't want to touch on it, but I'm gonna touch on it. Look at this fucking picture of the fucking little kid the little drag kid with the fucking naked man.
Sure.
And how disgusting is that?
I didn't even look at the picture. I was
No,
like, I refuse.
No,
You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're.
I did look at the
whack-
Tony Storm finger blasting herself, though. I watched that. That was excellent.
What are you talking about? I didn't see that.
The new NXT UK Women's Champ had a sex tape leak where it was just a hand finger blast in her snatch, but it has the exact same fucking tattoo that Tony Storm, NXT Women's Champ, has.
Oh.
I'll send it to you in chat.
And she won the title after
She
that.
won the title after the video leaked.
Okay, well, all ladies, now you know. Now you know.
Evolution, it's a mystery.
Hey, popping on what you're saying too, just very quickly. There might be this stuff going on, but it's being so normalized day in and day out. Drag queens reading the children, this picture, even the Shia LaBeouf, is that how you say his name? That fucked up video with that kid in the cage, the music video.
Yep.
Dude,
What?
it's a
you
Shia
talking about?
LaBeouf music video, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he's in a cage with like a 12-year-old kid. Like really fucked up shit. And then the TED Talk is the mother load where they're really just coming out and saying, yeah, this is just
they
a
put it
normal
over
thing.
as like it's my inner child locked up, but that's not what the real fucking meaning is. You know.
Well, look, man. We were touching
Well,
on
we
base
cheered
on this
him up now.
before. we were touching on base about this before, about how everybody was being made special and everyone has to be part of the group. And if it offends one person in the group, then you can't do it. And that's the case. You're going to get extradited. You're not going to be part of the special group. You're going to be outcasted, for being an individual. That is no different than what's going on in the world today, what the NWO, Illuminati, whatever the fuck you see, deep state wants to do with the world, taking it over, one world order, globalism. I mean, look at the world we live in today, where if you're looking for truth, you're called the truth seeker with a negative connotation because you're trying to find out the truth. Because when you say someone is a truth seeker, then you're admitting that what has been presented is false and is bullshit. And what an individual is trying to look for is the opposite, which is the actual truth, but you're crucifying him for it. Then on top of that, God forbid you want to put your country first on top of other countries, and you're a nationalist. You're being crucified again because, what about the sick kids, in a third world country? Well, what about the kids who are drinking cruddy water in Michigan? What about the unemployed people here in the United States who can't find jobs because some schmuck CEO moved his company to China so they can pay him 8 cents a day? No offense, Stevie. Move him to China, 8 cents a day so they can make bands in the basement at a cheaper price so the bottom line can be better. Case in point, man, same exact thing with this pedophilia nonsense. They're trying to group everyone together to say it's okay, and they're trying to desensitize everybody. So this way, sooner or later, when they do drop the bombshell, you know what I mean? And they want to fucking incorporate these people into the fucking civilization. All those higher ups in Washington and Hollywood and in the Vatican and, religion, entertainment, and politics are all going to get a pass. They're going to say,
Sure.
Now I'm coming out. Now this and this and that. But for years, them doing what they did, come on, man. This is all nonsense. All these fuckers need to be strung up, tortured, castrated, and put a bullet right in the fucking head.
That's my tag team partner. Fucking yeah, man. I mean, you're on it with the slow rollout. What did we see 2 months ago? The drag queen reading story time to 6-year-olds. Now we see 10-year-olds on the cusp of puberty posing naked with that. They're just stepping it up the volume just a little bit at a time to make you feel, to have a reaction, but are you really going to do anything about it? No, they didn't do anything about it. Okay, they can settle for that. Then we're going to push it a little bit higher and a little bit higher till it is normalized all across the board, man.
It's ridiculous. So all these Nancy, I'm sorry, Sal, go ahead.
No. go ahead. Finish.
I was gonna say all these Nancy Browns are like, we have to include them into civilization. We have to see it from their point of view. No, we fucking don't. It's very simple. Okay, there's two genders, boys and girls. Banging kids is wrong. It's immoral. It's unethical. It's disgusting. Okay, they're not the victims. The children who are being abused are the victims because they don't know any better. And on top of that, anybody who's under the age of 18 years old should not be allowed to. Their parents shouldn't give them hormone shots to change their sexuality, because put it this way, if they're not old enough to vote, then they're not old enough, I mean, to affect society with their votes, quote unquote, then they should not be allowed to venture down that path where they want to be the opposite sex. Because guess what? My kid feels this way today, but tomorrow he might feel the other way, but it's too late.
Man, that's tough.
What are we going to do?
That's fucking
Come on,
tough.
man. This is bullshit.
I don't know, man. That's hard, bro. It's hard. I got to cut you off, man. I totally get where you're coming from, because that hard line edge in me is tough, but I have a lot of actor friends, and I have someone who's just transitioned, who isn't into, hasn't done the full cut the dick off and all that, but is much happier living life as a woman. But I think the next step in what we've seen is
how old is that person?
25.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Look,
It wasn't until after college he did it, and he's actually, or she is becoming a pretty big like star on Broadway in what they're doing. But
But what Pop is saying is his parents didn't say at 3, well, look at my son. He loves my high heels. Oh, let's make him a girl.
Right.
That's
No, they're not.
what he
But
said.
I saw that today, that British family where the mother's the father, the father's the mother. They're actually
I would cut all
taking
of their fucking heads
they're
off.
they're taking their little boy and transitioning into a girl at age 5 or 6, whatever the fuck. That's nothing more than clickbait vitriol. Like that's a setup to me. I do got to say, shout out to the chat room. Seems like there's a lot of people working hard doing Stevie Richards Fitness, enjoying their weed afterwards. People are waiting for their weed guy to call. People are getting weed delivered. So, if you really are
Stevie
into
will have
that.
a new shirt on ProWrestlingTees.com.
Yep.
Nothing like a big fat bowl of weed right after my SRFF.
Yeah, the only thing that'll be fat after your SRF is your bowl of weed, so or your blunt. But appreciate you guys relaxing, chilling with us, opening your mind tonight, and doing that. Hopefully, you get your fix either way sooner than later. But I just wanted to put over, if you haven't listened, there's a whole cannabis episode this week at hackerhameen.podbean.com from Crow 777. So check that out to all my weed heads out there. Go ahead, Sally.
So the picture of the kid with the transvestite. So I have an artistic side where I'm like, okay, this picture is going to push everybody's fucking button.
Mm-hmm.
So then they say, well, it's okay because, the tranny had a dick sock on. He wasn't naked around the kid. Okay, so now.
If you're naked around any kid that's not yours, you're fucked. You fucking failed.
So now I'm gonna use him. So Nicolas Cage now does a movie where he has to be naked in the movie, but he's got a dick sock on, and there's a crew around him. Obviously, it's not a quiet little fucking place. He's in a movie set, got a dick sock on, where he has to walk past a 10-year-old kid in the shot. Is it the same thing?
No, it's a movie, dog.
But now this is a 2-second picture.
Well, one, you're creating a false reality. The other one you're putting over as a mission statement.
This kid is now, that's who he identifies as. He identifies as this, transgender kid, and he's 10 years old. So that's who this kid settled. Isn't that the kid who's a dancer too?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. So.
Are we talking about the Halloween movie again?
Yes, this is from the new Halloween movie where they said it's okay to be a cross transgender dancer with your dad who's hunting in the woods. Yeah, but so again, this was a 1-second snap of a picture, and the kid wasn't in any sexual danger because obviously the transvestite guy, transgender, whatever you want to call him, he wasn't sexually touching the kid. He had a
he's being used. It doesn't matter. He's being used as
That's
a
what I'm
fucking.
saying. They were doing it to create this art now that is going to push every jerk off's button. Everybody on the planet is going to be bothered by this.
And I gotta say, I'm bothered by Arena Abramov's fucking stuff too. But after who she's hung out with and all that shit, there needs to be the why. As I totally get art for shock value. That's kind of my fucking MO, but when and I cross the boundaries of good taste plenty, but mine is the fact that let me make you think about something that you agreed to subversively to keep your own life just honky dory how you want it. What can I sacrifice with that's out of sight, out of mind? This isn't out of sight, out of mind. This is right here, and you have to make a choice now whether you're fine with GGP's kids showering with somebody else or not. You know what I mean? A total stranger, and not just a total stranger, someone who's making a choice that their whole persona is let me define myself through a different sexuality. Look at me because of that. And now how farther can I carry a perversion and pass that on to something else and make it normal? That's what's fucked to me, dude.
Listen, kids should be off limit. That's it. End of story. Kids in any shape, form, or fashion, artistic point of view, should always be off limit because.
What about fucking Brooke Shields? When we were kids growing up, she did Gene commercials and everybody wanted her asshole.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree with you 100%.
I'm just going to let you come back to your point real quick because you're doing a great job for me right now. And the kids should be off limits. But the other story we wanted to cover was U.S. approves thousands of child bride requests, reports the Associated Press. Thousands of requests by men to bring in child and adolescent brides to live in the United States were approved over the past decade, according to the government data obtained by the Associated Press. In one case, a 49-year-old man applied for admission for a 15-year-old girl. The approvals are illegal. The Immigration and Nationality Act does not set minimum age requirements, and in weighing petitions for spouses or fiancés, U.S. citizenship and immigration services go by whether the marriage is legal in the home country and then whether the marriage would be legal in a state where the petitioner lives. But the data raises questions about whether immigrants' systems may enable forced marriage and how about U.S. laws may be compounding the problem. Despite efforts to limit child and forced marriage, marriage between adults and minors is not uncommon in the United States, and most states allow children to marry with some restrictions. There are more than 5,000 cases of adults petitioning on behalf of minors and nearly 3,000 examples of minors seeking to bring in older spouses or fiancés, according to the data requested by the Senate Homeland Security Committee of 2017 and compiled in the report. Go ahead, GGP.
That is disgusting. I don't care if it's okay to bang kids in your country. That's still disgusting. Case in point, a 15-year-old kid with a 49-year-old man is absurd. Totally 100% absurd. And it's not because we were raised here on the west part of the world. It is disgusting. Okay, you have a child. She's innocent, or he's innocent. They're not polluted by life. They haven't been knocked down and kicked through the mud and grizzled. They're not veterans of life. So for anyone to do that is just plain wrong. And the fact that they found some kind of loophole in the law and they're allowing it is just another step or another spoke in the wheel of what we were talking about before, of normalizing this scenario, so that when it does come to pass, all these politicians and all these actors and all these priests and all these clergymen are all going to come out and say, well, you know what, I have a secret to say. And then it's going to be fine, because by that time we're going to be so desensitized, no one's going to care. It's going to be ridiculous.
And the clickbait on this was probably the image of a 12 to 14-year-old, she could be anything, Indian, Palestinian type looking girl. And dude, instantly before you even click the fucking headline, visceral reaction. Big Sal, I'll get him.
So I'm going to give you guys a Nancy Brown story. Okay. And this is what makes this shit okay. And I'm saying, okay. Paul Walker, fucking French fry in a car, says he was down with dating underage girls. Okay. And he was dating underage actresses, people he'd meet, and he'd meet the parents. There was nothing creepy or weird about the way he did it, because he's Paul fucking Walker. And he'd go and meet these girls, 16, 17-year-old, meet their parents, take them out, go out to dinner, and then he'd fucking hook up and probably bang the fucking shit and finger blast their daughter, their 16, 17-year-old daughter. Fucking, right? But it was all okay, because it's Paul Walker, and he talked to their parents first. Is that cool?
No.
But that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying to you. Nobody gives a fuck, because handsome Paul Walker, went out with mom and dad. We all went out to dinner. We had a great time, and then I fucking plowed your daughter in your house. Or I took her to a nice hotel and fucking laid her out.
But you're not listening. I'm not saying that it's bad because it's immigrants and it's only good because it's Paul Walker. It's all over the spectrum.
And
it's disgusting.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying this is why it's okay. It's because it's not a brown guy selling another brown kid. This is handsome Paul Walker stepping up, taking the parents out, dropping $300 on a dinner just so he can fucking blast their daughter.
Stevie, your wife's really young. How did you convince her parents to let you take her out?
Wow.
Sally like that one.
Stevie, tell her you said that. She'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah, hell yeah.
She should.
It's my girl.
Actually, Odin brought the engagement ring into her. I didn't even propose. Odin had it around his neck. He clammed up. He couldn't say it.
Little does she know that she's married to a cat now.
Said, hey.
Yeah, cat
she's now married to that cat, and she has no idea.
Yeah.
That's how Stevie keeps all of his fucking wealth.
Yeah, but she's gonna find out. Odin's a little player. Play That's just stuff.
You should get him a diamond eye for the one other fucking side.
What the fuck you doing?
Put a slick Rick patch over his eye.
No, what's the last week? What do I do?
Ring finger down, buddy. Ring finger down.
Yeah, so you just fucking.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So how did you convince her parents at such a young age to give her up?
Well, listen, man. What's going on right now? Same thing with R. Kelly now. Everything's coming out with R. Kelly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We all knew about him with Aaliyah back in the day.
Well, how about it took a TV show to do it, and then 3 days after the debut, they fucking move on it. You know, like, we'll let the pedophiles hang for so long with their fucking, we'll let them piss on the 16-year-olds, but we'll wait. We'll wait until we get to that point. You know, for me, man, my whole gimmick is obviously pretty extreme for the 9/11 truth. But people laugh and they rib about the 431 wives or whatever. But that is another fucking teaspoon of salt that I want people to fucking have to taste. I want them to, regardless if they think it's funny or they can brush it off, I've planted that fucking potato seed in their mind. And it's going to fucking grow into something of like, hey, is polygamy wrong? Especially child brides, possibly, when they see that story that they laughed at it. That's where I try and use satire, sure, to get a laugh or to break into somebody's wallet while I'm doing merch and call out their wife to get them over to my table. But there's always a little truth in that of how fucked up the Islam-Muslim situation is with that shit. Whether it's arranged marriages, promising your bride to an older man, which is in Fiddler on the Roof. That's a fucking main theme of a Broadway musical, so it doesn't need to even be Islamophobic because that's fucking Jewish faith as well. So
they still do the shit in Eastern Bloc countries where you go to a village, I see this girl, oh, she's hot. I kidnap her, it's my wife.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. You got nothing to say.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. I was gonna say, you know, when it comes to child brides or molestation, Greeks invented that shit, so they've been on that shit for.
Well, it was boys though.
It was all dudes. Go back and look at the etchings. They fucking even etched it into stone. They loved it so much.
Listen, man. Listen, dude.
What better way to say I love you?
Listen, unfortunately,
I love
100 years ago, right? Not, as recent as 100 years ago, having someone in their 30s and 40s going after someone in their teens was commonplace all over the world.
Sure.
Because people didn't live that long. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like that's kind of a fucking easy solution.
It's one factor. And back then it wasn't looked down upon. Do I think it's right? Absolutely not. Even back then it was wrong.
Do you really believe that though? I think that's just like a fucking history being rewritten. At the end of the day, the fucking bottom line on the marketing report is young pussy is awesome. And fucking whatever you got to do to fucking tell a story to get over and justify it, you're going to fucking do it. And I'm not talking about 6-year-olds, but I'm talking about a 40-year-old banging a 17-year-old.
I'm good. Let's just throw this out into the what if, the what if wind, because everybody knows Jerry Lee. Monroeville Mauler just said it. Jerry Lee Lewis. Let's go back a little further. Do you think Ben Franklin wasn't banging 6 stacks of fucking 17-year-old broads at a time? Like, come on, like 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 17-year-olds. Anybody who walked into that bedroom was getting the old man's dick. It didn't matter, and he didn't care.
Trump and Ivanka, you know, it's the same dichotomy, dude.
And here's the thing, and again, this goes into the hedonists, and they throw this around with Satanism and everything else. The tenet that they follow is do what feels right, do what feels good.
Doest thou wilt.
Right. Well, no. See, now doest thou wilt means don't harm anybody. Okay. So now
I don't know. That was Crowley's thing, and he harmed a lot of people.
Well, he was fucked up. Doest thou wilt has been now changed into doest thou wilt, harm none.
Okay.
Okay. But they throw that in with, do what feels good. That's the hedonism side of Satanism that they want to put in. And they said, well, what's to stop them from fucking 17-year-olds? And nothing but law, just like everybody else's law. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to stop. And no offense, if a Christian, Stevie, and I'm just using you as the example, if he turns around and a single Stevie, pre-wife, meets a 16-year-old and falls in love, like, I mean, they are in love. They watch fucking Hallmark together. They adopt cats together, and they're in love. He's still in love with a 16-year-old.
Well,
So,
how about the fact that you
is
got
it different?
70-year-old Mormon man flipping through a fucking
he's
book,
not that old.
looking at fucking 16-year-olds, 14-year-olds that they're photographing, saying, yeah, I'd like her for my 5th wife. Like it's some fucking ordained thing from your fake-ass religion that got handed down, when the reality is you're a 7-year-old who wants to fucking bang 15-year-olds, so use
Exactly.
religion as a scapegoat to fucking
exactly it.
justify it. And I don't give a
That's
fuck if
where I
it's
was
Mormon.
going. I was going with that long road. I
Yeah.
was going there. They justify it every time because they say, well, these words say this. And back then, those words didn't mean as much. There wasn't, I'm assuming, like, there wasn't the stigmata of, oh, she's underage. Like, I don't think anybody gave a fuck. Now it's different.
Yeah.
Now it's much, much different. Monroeville Mauler also brings up Jerry Lawler, another guy, loves the young pussy.
We've danced around that a lot, and he was on Raw this week. Walked out of Vince's office. There's the line. They did a rib fucking segment with a line down the hallway of Vince's office. Door opens. Lawler walks out. Hey, guys. He's fucking announcing the Royal Rumble. That's a name we haven't thrown out. Worked a lot of shows with him. Dude, if you know his fucking behind the scenes of what it is in Memphis and in Tennessee, or even on the road with WWE, there's been a lot of messes covered up for very young girls being in a bad situation that they put themselves in through manipulation. Now we're talking child brides as opposed to a one-night stand at the fucking Marriott. Stevie, where do you sit on this, whether it comes down to religion says it's okay and
It's quiet in their text and got a little check-in on me here.
Okay.
They wanted to know how I got somebody so as young as you. Yeah, we're talking about pedophiles. That's what the show's about.
Was
Not
it-
that I'm saying I'm one.
Candy? Was it Candy?
She actually chased me.
Did she?
To think about it.
She was like, I'm going to collect that fat
It was
AARP
sugar-free
check.
candy she got me with protein candy.
She bought him a ribbon candy bowl.
So what are you asking me now? Again?
Did she get you tennis balls from the bottom of your walker so you would have
Yes.
The orange one.
A couple months ago, I was a couple months ago, I was near Walker status. Now I'm better.
Paul Walker.
But,
Paul
said it.
Walker
Yeah, the
status
Chinese
days.
kids made me some new bands, and I'm good to go now.
Nice. No, my question is, where does the religion part play in this? Is it excusable because of tradition, or is it time to say, fuck your religious standards, you're using that as a scapegoat so you can commit acts that should not be happening on a child?
Well, here's the twist in that too. Since they're normalizing all this stuff, do you think the Catholic Church is going to turn around and say, okay, everything now is kind of okay to do that, and they bring these guys back into the fold?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just kind of biding their time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this stuff, this is where religion gets a really bad rap because they hide behind the shield of faith in order to do some of the worst things that they can tend to do, financially, ethically, morally, sexually. They're like against every value they preach against. that's why religion is just awful. Faith is not, religion is. But yeah, I think they got that fucking. I mean, but we should do a whole show on that about how they've pretty much put all these guys supposedly on an island or extradited them somewhere.
Temptation
like,
Island.
Yeah, maybe, but they did put them in a specific place to kind of like keep them.
Oh, you're talking about the priests.
The priests, absolutely, yeah. So
yeah, like 750 of them. Not let's take those 10. They took 750 priests, relocated them to a place, undisclosed location, island, where I'm sure they're fucking shipping in boys left and right even now. I
was gonna say, and then what they're doing, they're taking all the fucking kids who fuck up in seminary school and all these other places and sending them to be the fucking servants over there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude, to me, like if you were
need special guidance.
Hey, all you self-loathing closeted gays out there, there's never been a better time to be a page boy for a priest on a pedophile island. If you want to sign up and have a great life.
Allegedly.
Oh, sorry about that.
By the way, thanks for listening. The whole thing with that too is I mean, as we're unwrapping this is much like what we talked about on the review show with why aren't the discussions that need to be had for a better product. This is the discussion that needs to be had in an open one for a better world. What are you laughing at the word open?
No, sorry. In the chat room.
I've been all of your descriptives have been fucking dirty as shit.
No, just in the chat room, House of Moth goes, on season 1 of Pedo Island.
Dude,
the intro.
We're about, I'm telling you.
Father Hannigan, what's he up to on the beach?
With the way they're throwing it out there and normalizing it, how long are we before Netflix or one of these services or even like ABC or NBC puts, Child Island on there or something, NAMBLA. NAMBLA makes the big comeback too. Because they used to be the biggest heels. Now NAMBLA's like, oh, you just like to hang out with kids.
Yeah.
You don't want to do anything.
Well,
like
now
they're not even the worst ones.
Because they have normalized it with that whole LGBTX thing on the fucking end. They've tried to throw themselves into, hey, guys, this isn't their choice. We're born. I'm born wanting to touch little pee-pee. Like, that's how they fucking tried to normalize this. And it's become that we have to be accepting of all these people. We all have to be very accepting and just we have to hug it out. Oh, okay, you could stop hugging the 8-year-old. He gets it. Stop hugging it. Hey, stop. Because that's what it's become. It's become normalized and it's become a punchline. NAMBLA is no longer the threat. They're out in the open. What you really have to worry about is the secret closeted pedos who are luring your children to their basements to fucking diddle. So they've actually stepped out and kind of shown, like they've brought the attention on themselves saying, listen, we are an organization, but we're normal. We're just normal.
They're trying their damnedest, but you got to say, as far as sex trafficking rings go and busts and all that stuff, the last 2 years under this administration have been a very good covert war to break that up. However, one other thing that we saw that kind of pissed me off, and not just because I saw it on Rogan this morning, but him and Theo Vaughn were talking about how about when Sacha Baron Cohen was doing his new show and stumbled along a pedophile ring and asked if he can get young boys under age 16. And the guy's like, yeah, sure, we can do that. And then they didn't really follow up on it. They exposed that they found it in Vegas, but no follow-up really, because who the fuck is involved in that, who's got the big money, and what politicians are going under because of it. To me, that's almost aiding and abetting a felon of what Sacha Baron Cohen is doing by not stooging it off and them not following up on it.
And I'm sure he wasn't anywhere near as much of a heel as he was to the gun shop owner.
Sure.
In the one episode.
Right.
Hey, let's just repeat what we're talking about here. They just found a pedophile ring or people sex trafficking children.
Yeah.
And there's no follow up on mainstream media. One of the most famous child murders where the person, the pedophile who's been convicted of past pedophile crimes and he's currently locked up.
No follow up.
Basically said he was sexually assaulting her, a child, and he killed her accidentally, and it's nowhere to be found.
In the first story, you even have a celebrity. Like, that's a fucking 2-for-1, right? Like, that's clickbait shit, and it's not going down. So from the worker side, who's the fucking Vince putting that shit under the radar? It'll get so far to the conspiracy community, but when it comes to Nancy Brown's, they can't deal with that. That's
Dude,
getting
Rolling
pushed.
Stone. Who's not reading Rolling Stone and calling their local congressman or whatever while they're in Puerto Rico?
pretty much
partying right
everyone.
now?
Bing,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say because you put him on. We were talking Pedo Island earlier. For those who don't know, during the government shutdown, 30 Democratic senators and congressmen went to Puerto Rico for a vacation. Guess what? 100 lobbyists were there as well.
150. 150.
150 there at the same time. And I don't want to do the Horowitz, but I said this. I was pumped when Trump was doing all those signings they meaned him for, and he cut down those lobbyists like they're standing behind him in the Oval Office like, well, it looks like I'm taking your jobs away. Because we needed to get lobbyists out of Washington. Guess what? Now you're doing fucking the backdoor deals where fucking handshakes get made illegally. And to me, I would love it, the fact that they know that and that shit's getting exposed. If somebody's there taping them, watching them work with lobbyists to expose corruption even more. But the reality is they're just showing the corruption so you're fucking okay with it because the government shut down. Fuck it. Go on with your life. There's 18 inches of snow coming. That's what's important.
Hey man,
Right.
by the way, I don't know if this is crossing into that territory. I don't know if it violates it, but it's just like when Hillary went to Bilderberg Group and met with foreign officials.
Sure.
Puerto Rico is not officially a 51st state or anything. It's still considered to be a foreign country.
By design, so they can do that in a fucking neutral ground, right?
No, but because they're meeting and they're also meeting in secret and there's lobbyists involved and also maybe foreign officials, doesn't that really tread closely to violating the Logan Act?
It
Because
definitely
you're not allowed
does.
to do government business like in that way.
You know,
Well, it might be on U.S. soil.
it is.
but I'm
Puerto
not
Rico is
sure.
considered U.S. soil.
I mean, just exposing it. Here we are again. Where is Ben Shapiro? Ben Shapiro, as soon as he heard of that, he should fucking be on the ground in D.C. at the airport waiting for them to come back and say, we got these pictures. What'd you discuss? And hold the mic in their fucking face and make them shit their pants on camera. Where the fuck are any real journalists? You pieces of shit, motherfuckers. GGP.
It's all the work. It's all the work. They're all friends backstage, dude, just like baby faces and heels. It's
Yep.
no different. It's no different. Shapiro's shaking hands with everybody, and everyone else is shaking Shapiro's hands.
The boys don't even get along this good.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
still
you're
trying-
right. Because you know what? Because they're all making money together.
I
That's
was
why
say
they're
we don't
getting
get they've got bigger envelopes than we do. That's why.
Exactly. But I mean, look, two things I wanted to say that's a little off topic. It might change the conversation a little. One, did you guys see the picture of the fake rocket that Elon Musk put out? That supposedly they've been working on this big rocket from SpaceX, and they showed a picture of the silver rocket. It looks like something out of like 1950 sci-fi horror film. Looks totally bullshit.
No.
Two, okay. Two, how about that statue in front of 9/11 on the 9/11 grounds?
Yeah.
That's my dude
with
right
the-
there.
That says
Not there anymore.
Maybe he's not there anymore.
They took
Gone.
it down because of the heat.
Good,
Yeah, dude.
good.
But it
That
doesn't
was
matter.
totally in bad taste.
It's the fact that they had the fucking balls to even try it. That they fucking thought they could slide it through. They thought we were that conditioned that they could slide that fucking shit through a Saudi statue at 9/11 memorial that says there's only one God and that's Allah.
And
Dude.
not for nothing, man. Not for nothing. Being the fact that I was down there for all that, it's totally disrespectful to all those people and the families who have to suffer because of 9/11. But I don't want to hear none of this lefty extreme bullshit about, oh, you're a xenophobe because you're not, or Islamophobe because you're not accepting their right and their statue and they should be equally there, just like all the other statues around the world. No. You don't put a statue of Hitler in the middle of a fucking, what was that place called? That's very Schwarzschild or whatever.
Auschwitz.
Auschwitz.
But
Yeah.
Schwarzschild is a better name.
Shawshank
Schwarzschild
is
is also
fucking.
my
That's
other favorite
exactly where they need a Hitler statue is in Shawshank.
Schwarzschild, definitely.
Schwarzschild's redemption.
Yeah.
That's
Whatever.
that's Hillary Schwank's sister.
But you know what I'm saying? Case in
Ada.
point, there's a time and place for everything, and that's totally the wrong time, wrong place.
Right.
Adolf Dufresne waded through 500
You know what?
yards of shit I would not want to believe.
He waded through knee-deep hair.
Adolf,
That title
Adolf,
call.
Adolf Dufresne swam his ass all the way to South America to get free.
Although I will tell you, the hot dog cart outside of Auschwitz, classy.
All right, I'm gonna.
Yeah, and actually,
so I'm gonna gloss over that.
That's a real
so
thing.
anyway,
I'm not making it up.
Joseph Goebbels was here.
here's, yeah, good,
hung
good doctor.
Yeah.
Good watch. I wonder if he takes insurance.
He was the
so,
Birdman.
by the way, imagine this, and this would actually be something that, as a conspiracy theorist, would be awesome. What if the Saudis were putting a statue up as the fucking Satanists were doing their eye fucking ritual there, and they
just
watch
fucking-
that fucking shit
You
go
got
off,
peanut
right?
butter in my chocolate. You got chocolate in my peanut butter. They just fucking team
Why
up.
not just put the whole Baphomet statue there and say, well, we have to represent our religion. Are the brothers we lost up in the plane and in the
Might as
building?
well.
Vince comes down and makes it a fatal four-way when you bring the fucking atheists in there.
It'll be over. I'll
But
represent.
imagine that. I mean, you're talking about a problem that might just take care of itself right then and there. I mean, you have all the fucking globalists who do their satanic shit, and then you got the fucking Saudis coming there, basically putting the stamp on the end, or the exclamation point on the end of the fucking act, saying there's only, because that's the whole fucking reason that they wanted to do that kind of shit.
I kind of want to name this episode Adolf Dufresne, but it has nothing to
Yeah.
do with the topics that we're talking.
Just name the title Raquel Welch poster, Ava Braun poster.
Adolf and Joe Madea love story.
Ava Braun poster, Bob.
What was it again?
Ava
Braun
Braun
poster.
poster instead of the Raquel Welch that he fucking dug the tunnel with. Strong. There's some good comedy here. I mean, I wish you guys were fucking in the scene, man.
You know, it's funny, just speaking of comedy really quickly, that I can't believe they still allow him to operate is Bill Burr, because he's right along the lines
Killing
of
it,
the jokes
dude.
we're doing.
I-
And I can't believe that they have not fucking shut him
I
down.
reached out to him, man, and I sent him the $5 face slaps because I figured he'd pop for that on the Monday show, but he gets so much. I'm sure it might have just got glossed over because he's a huge wrestling mark too, and he likes those weird fucking things like that,
Well,
especially.
now you know how Frankie Zero feels, you motherfucker, you heartless fuck.
Well,
I thought you said we weren't supposed to bring his name up,
yeah,
Sal.
they don't want to talk about him.
That you can't say that. I talk about him on my show.
Are you wearing a swastika when you do?
I wear schwank stickers. How dare you?
Oh shit!
It's $1 million, baby.
The Shark Tank Redemption.
Schwank tank redemption.
Shark Tank.
Shark
That's where
Tank
that's where
Redemption.
that's where Hitler had all the extra Shark Tank.
Hit him in the schwank tank.
Oh fuck. Yeah, man. When it comes to the child bride stuff, I'm just not putting it over for any real. I mean, obviously, as the atheist, there is no justification for it aside from you have some type of sickness that if you can't hold out, or even if the fact that you're promising your child to someone for fiscal means based on old school tradition that you were handed down some bullshit.
Here's a goat and some land. Here's my kid.
Yeah, you know right from wrong in what's down deep. And if you fucking ask that question to yourself and choose, you've chosen poorly. Well then, fuck you, because we got no love for you at the end of the day. And you obviously are greedy and selfish and petty that you would give up somebody else's life based on some operant conditioning that you grew up with. There's no justification for it whatsoever, in my opinion. Oh, yeah.
So yes, no, for the record, so we can say it. 482 wives, all of them are legal.
Well, let's not get out of hand. If they're a C cup, they're fucking over. Oh fuck. Yeah, you guys, you want to do one or two from the mailbag, and we'll wrap it up. Is that good with
Sure.
you? All right. Let me see here. Got to bring up the mailbag first. That'd be excellent. But it was a good show, guys. It's 8:20 already.
Oh, fuck.
When time's ripping by when we get hot. That's my favorite type of conspiracy, Horseman. Absolutely.
fucking dog's sitting there looking at me. I'm like, no, dude, you got time. No, you don't. We're about that time. All right.
He's like, come on, bro.
He's like, oh, I got to piss. Come on.
Loading Gmail with your Freemason symbolism.
Careful.
Oh,
Fucking House of Moth will make fun of you for having Gmail.
all right.
You're part of the machine now.
From Brett Collette, we already covered this, but I'll just touch on it quick. China Moon Rover. Hey, men, have you guys seen the new Gillette Alpha Male ad? Oh, we didn't touch on this. Why the fuck would a company like Procter & Gamble decide to alienate half of its clientele on a whim? Will companies ever learn to keep politics out of business? Sorry, political correctness triggers me. Would like to know Horseman's thought on Chinese Pink Floyd rover that landed last week. Could this possibly be disclosure? Also, I don't know much about the rumored dark side of the moon activity, so any insight on the matter would be killer. Thanks, guys. P.S. Big Sale, you're the man. Appreciate you, man, for sending that in. Obviously, we covered the moon
Mom.
stuff from Brett Collette.
I thought it was my mom.
I mean, the dark side stuff, they put over the rib, as Sal said, of we didn't see any American flags. Like, did we ever go there? Are they the first? Kind of a covert shot. We say the dark side of the moon, but the HD footage that they supposedly released looks pretty convincing to me as a landing. But when it comes to the Gillette commercial, that was really the thing that kind of broke the internet today. And I'm in marketing and advertising, and marketing and advertising is the most racist, sexist, ageist thing you can partake in. So really, everyone responding is doing exactly what all of the marketing people on this ad thought. How can we get the most responses? Let's trigger people. What's that going to do? Well, we'll do something that the SJWs support, and then the right-wingers will fucking absolutely rebel against completely. And at the end of the day, we're getting max value out of our campaign ad. So really, it's probably the fucking smartest ad I've seen in 2 years. Do I agree with the emotional factor of it? Personally, not really, but I see exactly what they're trying to do, because when you tie emotion to a brand, you will get the most response, you will get the most reaction to it from people, and people will forever be endeared one way or another to your brand. So, but at least you're in their mind. Stevie, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'm getting yelled at via text because I took a screenshot of a Tesla that I was looking at earlier. So I'm getting some heat right now.
Nice.
I might be sleeping on this gaming chair.
Well, it's comfortable. It was free, and I think you could do a good night's sleep on that chair.
Thank you. Thank you.
From Clutch Chairs.
Sorry, I was a little distracted by not the Tesla, but the text I got.
At Clutch Chairs, the chairs company who will not give Ben Hameen a free chair. Yalla.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, Stevie, answer, dude.
What's the question?
Oh my God.
What did you like better, the Gillette commercial or the Teller commercial?
I did not see either.
GGP, what'd you think about all the blowback from
I haven't
others?
seen this Gillette commercial.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been too enthralled with the new Spider-Man trailer to even fathom watching commercials right now. I'm like marking out huge for it.
Well, I mean,
Why?
it blew everything up. Did you see it, Sal, or no? I'll explain it if not.
With the fucking hairy armpit chicks?
No. So the new Gillette commercial is a bunch of guys of what we've been brought up to, whether, let just boys be boys, and you see guys at a barbecue and their sons are fighting on the lawn wrestling. All of these, cliche things that we've been brought up to be, and they show a whole, line of guys at a barbecue, I'm talking like 20, and they just keep going over, boys will be boys, boys will be boys, da-da-da-da.
Trimmer's doing the voiceover.
Yeah, and bullies chasing the nerdy kid and da-da-da. And then in the last third of the commercial, a father comes over and breaks him up, says, no, this is how we get along. Or a dude stops the kid who's getting chased and being like, you don't have to fear and run from them, just stand up and be yourself. Like all this empowerment stuff, but it's about toxic masculinity disorder that we've all been brought up with for the last John Wayne era till now, and now become a social justice, understanding, thinking, free thought male. Gillette, they even bury their own thing. Gillette, the best a man can get. And then they show all of these toxic masculinity disorders and they go, is this really the best we can be? Can we be better men? So they pose the question on both sides and fucking ignite vitriol, and yes, this is the kind of advertising we really want as new millennium men. Like it is perfect puppeteering for both sides.
So in the commercial, a father breaks up a fight between two kids, and another guy stops a kid from running away from a bully and says to stand up to the bully, and people are actually getting upset about this.
Well, they show men like at a barbecue where two little kids fighting on a lawn, be like, "Ha, boys will be boys." That old 50s to year 2000. That's just the way we are. We're fucking men. We like pussy. We like to fight. We're cavemen. That's inside our DNA. And then the other part of it is...
How do you get that from just two boys fighting? I don't get it.
They
said boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys.
Yeah, boys will be boys. I understand that.
But then they show that for 2/3 of the commercial. All the things that we would normally do as 90s Generation X men, where we have the ability to feel, but we still like testosterone shit. Then the last third of the commercial they show that same scenario, but a father breaks ranks from the men at the barbecue, comes over and grabs the two boys and goes, "Come on, guys, we can get along better than that." Instead of let them fight it out, right? Where dudes will punch each other in the face and then we're friends again. Instead, they're trying to do touchy-feely. Let's talk out our shit. And it's not okay to be a man and just fucking wail on each other for a second and everything's fine in the old dichotomy. They're pushing both sides of that. That's what they do it
sucks.
well.
How many fucking razor blades are you gonna sell with this commercial? like the Dollar Shave Club, they said in the chat room, that first commercial made me want to buy their blades.
That's killed me.
Yeah.
That's why I actually used them for a long time.
So what part
was
of
that
this
first
is like
commercial
teaching?
The dude sitting there just talking. The guy who made the club up, he was being a fucking idiot the whole time.
He's walking through the whole thing. It's
like he's walking through his warehouse, which is just going crazy. There's nuts shit going on. But it was so funny that I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. And I did.
Because he embraces testosterone and the fuck you to big corporate. This plays both sides. And really, it's nothing more. It doesn't have shit to do with selling razor blades. It's clickbait and people saying Gillette. How many times did you say Gillette in the last month?
Well, there's another commercial. Actually,
0 for me. Now I've said it 50 times today.
No, but I saw the commercial with the football player for the Seahawks that's missing part of his arm. And the opening of that is the father with him as a kid teaching him how to shave. And then empowering him.
Yeah, the kid with no arm, right?
Yeah, he's empowering him. And he's teaching him how it's every positive stereotype, black, white, whatever race you are, showing a father teaching his kid how to be a man, a football player, everything. That is one of the best commercials, and that was almost like.
I also like that they
is it the best commercial though? That's a commercial you like because of the morality and because of what it fucking showed and makes you feel good about a product. It plucks your heartstrings because we've got empathy for this kid who's missing an arm who just wants to fucking do the normal thing and have the passage.
But his brother, who trained just as hard as him, got nothing. So go fuck yourself.
But the other part of that is how many people know about that? How many people have been talking about it? We're talking about advertising, commercial, and marketing, which is about getting a response and people saying the name of your brand. The other one just is a one-to-one thing. Today, it went viral. And I don't want to have the response as a marketing guy of like, I feel this way about fucking toxic masculinity. They played you and they worked you guys like fucking pros in one day and got more play than they'll get the rest of the year completely. More than anybody will get in a Super Bowl commercial.
Well, if they want to really show a fucking good commercial, show when the fucking pilled up Balls Mahoney couldn't find a razor blade to geek himself with, so he bought a Gillette and he had to break it and gigged his hands all up, so he was bleeding like a mess beforehand.
Best a man could get.
The best a man can get is this idiot bought a 5-stack razor to fucking pop off and gigged his hands up and then taped it up. So there was blood all over his hands before the night started.
What's super strange about that commercial, if you want to follow the breadcrumbs, who owns Gillette? Robert Kraft, the Kraft family, who are really him along with Brady are big Trump supporters. So it's really, unless that didn't get moved all the way up the chain, and this is kind of like a commercial that was made without him knowing about it. Because from what I know about Robert Kraft and the Kraft family, they're very, very conservative, and they kind of stay out of that whole, I don't know, political message type thing in their commercials. So this is this could be a completely rogue thing within the company, but then they saw it worked and they're like, okay, well, what are we going to do?
So
What about the?
okay.
Okay.
Sorry
I
to,
was just saying,
sorry to
what
keep stepping
okay.
on you guys. Is like, as an advertising guy, you are thinking, and I'm not trying to shit on you, but like, you're thinking that they've got a message they want to put forward, that they have an agenda. They're not. They're just trying to fucking go pluck on two
What about
fucking
Colin
big
Kaepernick
demographics.
with Nike? Nike, nobody gave a fuck about Nike, and
Yeah.
then they put Kaepernick on, and everybody blew that shit up.
Well, the Heaven's Gate people, they cared about Nike.
Well, they did, but they weren't repeat customers, so fuck them.
What are the board members at Nike or Gillette doing today? Do they really care about, we got our social justice message through? No, they're going, holy fuck, look at these numbers, boys. Yeah, we fucking got them. We got to do this again.
So-
We got to play the political card again. How can we fuck with both sides again? That's the only thing they're thinking about in their meeting tomorrow.
In my head right now, we flash back over to the guy who's sitting at the thing and he's watching this fucking show and he's going, fuck you, Hameen, fuck you. And he's fucking typing in the chat room. Any hot chicks in here? And he's fucking...
Yeah, our chat room's known for hot chicks, Conspiracy Horsemen. Twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horsemen /hot chicks. Get them while you can. The one or two that are here. If Lisa Torch isn't here, there's no chicks in the fucking room at all, probably, to be honest with you. If you don't see Woman Warrior Fitness. How'd everything...
Sausage party outside Schwartz next.
How'd everything come out? All right, buddy?
What?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Said, how'd everything come out? All right?
Yeah.
All right.
It flowed nicely.
One more from Duncan Thurman, Horsemen, 1919 episode. What up, guys? I've been listening to you guys since you joined Russo, Brandon. I'm a huge fan of all of you. Just wanted to say that after hearing last week's episode, I hate you guys, not because of the content, but because something that happened. First, a little backstory. The wife and I were scrolling through TV channels and found the movie 1408. We watched all but 15 minutes of it as my wife decided to take a nap. So while she was asleep, I decided to pop on the episode before the Colts-Chiefs game started. Once the game started, I paused the video and closed my laptop to pay attention to the game. Fast forward to halftime, and the wife and I decide to finish watching the movie. Once the movie ends, I flip it back over to the game. After about 5 minutes out of blue, my laptop starts playing one of the ads attached to the video on Twitch, and it starts playing the video while it is still closed. I haven't touched it since the game started, and I have to type in my password to get back into it. So I just wanted to say thank you from my wife and I for making us almost shit ourselves, thanks to last week's episode. Haha, keep up the great work, guys. Big D, sent from my telephonic device over my 5G Wi-Fi signal. Interesting that while your laptop's closed, things are happening. More takeover, remote control, and who knows whether it's native ads or whatever type of ads that can actually take full control. I've seen things where I quit Podbean and Spotify, but they're still on in the background. What else is on in the background? Stevie?
Well, that's why they say that this Apple T2 chip on the new hardware is supposed to like shut your webcam off, supposed to encrypt your drive. The real reason for that, though, is the fact that if you do anything to switch out hardware, like upgrade or try to fix your own MacBook or iMac Pro or whatever, it's going to shut it down because only Apple's allowed to fix it. But they veiled that with the the PR thing of your webcam. You don't have to put tape over it; it'll shut it down. Will protect and encrypt your drive if it's stolen.
Right.
It's really just to protect their bottom line or their services. But as far as that, I mean, I'm the king of like, God, after I get off, as far as there's that another double entendre. After I stop podcasting with you guys, there we go. There'll be ads for stuff we talk about. There'll be stories that'll come up. I bet you on Facebook, the Rolling Stone story with that guy from the JonBenet Ramsey murder will come up sometime in the next few hours somewhere.
I bet within the next two. Yeah.
You'll get ads for Raquel Welch posters.
I like the ads for sausage. Sausage and shrank tank, the wank tank, concentration camp.
GGP, you're not getting the chip, but they're still listening. Have you had anything recently where it's like, holy shit, everything I'm interested in is constantly surrounding me?
All the time, dude. I get fucking ads for sideshow collectibles nonstop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now all these comic book statues and Star Wars statues. It's just the algorithm. They pattern what you look at and they send shit your way that you know you're gonna, like a mindless sheep, you're gonna spend your money on. And I'll be more than happy if I had the money to go buy a $700 Batman statue that's about 3 feet tall and put it in my house. But I don't have that money because I'm not making Stevie Rich's fitness band money yet.
I could probably do that for you for about $250, but you'd have to glue it and put it together and paint it yourself.
That's fine.
All
I
right.
can figure a way out.
That'd be good.
I'll kidnap one of the Chinese kids in the fucking basement and
Dude,
borrow him from Stevie, and he can fucking glue it together.
since I started with the 3D printing, that's all every ad I see is targeted ad 3D printing, man, and half Chinese. Big Sal, you're half Chinese. I really think so. So turn them Japanese on this one. Take us home.
Elbow, brain buster. Sorry.
Well, we were the fact that Lisa is in the chat room, and I wanted to make sure she was okay, and she had her hazmat suit on to protect her from the toxic masculinity.
All right.
Now I'm reading a couple. I'm sitting in the chat room reading some of the stuff here. Dirty Turnbuckle says he spent $40 on Gillette products last night alone.
Well,
Yeah, but Gillette was the stripper that gave him the lap dance.
Yeah.
Penn Gillette. No.
It was Penn Gillette. Right. Well, I can't believe nobody got my earlier joke, but that's
I know,
fine.
I got it. I heard.
No, it's all right. That's okay. You didn't put it over though.
No,
We're right.
It wasn't that good.
All right. I'm
Ha ha ha! Mean
No,
returns March 2nd.
I know. Which.
Oh Jesus!
See, oh, look at that! Look what happened, Papa Don.
I know.
Your
What
negativity
happened?
knocked.
Oh
you,
man, was that a
your
ghost?
negativity
No,
knocked the plaque over.
I hit it with my fucking big stupid head.
That's
By
my
the way,
tactic, partner.
if you're reading the chat room, Sal, did you see the one about the Spider-Man on PS4 and the 5G towers from
No, I
Smokey Mac B? I've been playing Spider-Man on PS4. I swear you have to turn on police towers that are definitely 5G towers, so Spider-Man and the cops can have real-time data of crimes happening on the map. I've seen that feature, but I haven't seen the actual towers to see if I wouldn't doubt if they put it in there.
Because
Yeah.
of privacy issues is J. Jonah Jameson. So if you're against the towers, you're an asshole. All right. Well, now I do have Spider-Man. I haven't played it yet. I haven't gotten. So we'll have to check that out. I'll give you a report. But I also
That's
have.
Ben's favorite superhero.
Yeah, I
He
beat
loves
I'll
that
beat the
kid.
shit out of anybody in Japan. I'll beat the shit out of Spider-Man 10 days a week.
Wow.
Okay. He's bitch made. He's Spider-Man.
What he
ain't
did
shit.
to Fire Lord though. That's what I
He's a
was
fucking
saying.
pussy ass bitch. Y'all infidels, we've covered it. I mean, child brides to I don't think we've gotten an actual consensus. One thing I wanted to close with is what's up with the mountain in Russia? I say directed energy weapon, not necessarily an alien crash. Stevie?
I've read a few stories where they were just trying to say, oh, there's already a crack or a tear in the mountain.
The old mountain.
It's just disappeared.
Classic
yeah,
mountain
there's a
tear.
crack in the trade towers too. It just that's why they pulverized.
Should have
You know,
fixed that
window-
crack in the
window had a-
mountain. They had the chance to fix it. They didn't, and that's what you get.
Everybody
One of
knows
those-
that if your house settles and there's a crack in the ceiling, get the fuck out. It's about to be pulverized in the dust because that's the way physics work these days.
That's it.
I think it's something obviously energy wise. You know, for all we know, it could be some kind of meteor that has to do with Planet X. It could be anything, but it's definitely not. Dude, these guys need to hire us. Their fucking bullshit stories are so bad.
Bad.
That's
Just-
what they get when they have those cheap Chinese-made mountains. They just
Dude,
collapse.
we just-
You got to get
if we
American-made
just-
mountain over there in Russia.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you're
fuck.
fucked.
For fuck's sakes, man.
if we
Buy
had just
merch.
said, dude, if we came out and said, you know, like, hey, obviously it's Hitler's come back and he has a directed energy weapon and he's practicing on mountains and this motherfucker needs to be stopped. Be like, okay, no more questions. We're done.
That's it.
like you shut him off.
That's it.
Like nothing happened. This guy's crazy.
The FBI from Las Vegas is behind him. Is like, shut it down, guys. Shut it down.
Come on, let's
Dude,
go.
just
Come on.
Trump is treated like the dumbest fuck on the planet, and that enables him to get away with anything he wants.
Mhm.
Look at it. So I don't know. That's my impression.
GGP, you've climbed the mountain, baby. What do you think? Space Mountain? Is it aliens or is it tunnels underneath? What's going on?
I think it could be very well be a direct energy weapon. Could it be linked to China on the moon? Who knows? You know, could they be shooting a beam from outer space, just bouncing it off of something, you know, on the moon? I mean, I don't, you know, as far as this China thing goes, I don't think they went. I think it's a misdirection. I think it's a misdirection because all of a sudden all this news started coming out that there's civilization on the moon's a hologram, civilization over there, Space Force, Corey Good, this and that, other aliens, you know, all this stuff, and all of a sudden China sends a rover to the moon, to the dark side of the moon. Come on, man, something just doesn't sit right with me. I just think it's a misdirection spot, so this way people could just say, oh wait, if China's on the moon with a rover, how come we don't see any cities? How come we don't see any people or any civilization or aliens? Oh, that was bullshit. So, I don't know. I don't know. I really think it has something. I think it has something to do with what happened in Astoria and in Ireland. I think they're all connected somehow in some shape, form, or fashion.
I like it. I look forward to you keeping an eye on it and sending stuff our way. Big Sal, the man of the mountain himself. What do you think, buddy?
All right. So, number one, I don't think it was anything extraterrestrial. I think it was, I'll let you guys in on a little secret. Chairface Chippendale was actually going to finish writing Chairface on the moon, but somebody held up a mirror and actually shot it back down. That's an old Tick reference for anybody who's watched Tick. Anyway, I would say, what's the Tick? Anyway.
I know what the Tick is.
You just know so. Thanks, though. Anyway, I think it was less than an energy weapon. I'm going to say because there isn't anything that shows that it might be an energy weapon, like the surrounding area.
A hole in a mountain doesn't count.
Yeah, half a mountain cut down the middle.
But if my house collapses, it's not because an energy weapon fucking hit it. It's not that an energy weapon hit it. It's because there's another reason. Look around it.
As fucking is broad as that. It wasn't an energy weapon. It was another reason.
Well, no. I said because now you're saying he's telling me he's going. Oh no, the mountain collapsed. Could be a lot of reasons why the mountain collapsed.
Okay.
Particularly that something underneath did not support said mountain because it collapsed inwards. Okay. So to me,
Sal, I love you. I love you, but you sound just like Joe Rogan. I'm sorry. This is like John. No. This is John.
And that
Jones
was we appreciated having Big Sal on the show all these years.
What the fuck, man?
Wow. And that's how we're gonna have to sank it home. We're talking big heat here. I know there's heat between the Monday locker room and the Wednesday locker room. Now there's obviously heat within the Horsemen. This is just a banner show right here, you guys.
Put it this way. To be fair, I mean, we're all countering Sal. We're not ganging up on him, but it isn't a coincidence that in the West Coast California fires were selective in what burns and what doesn't burn. Then all of a sudden we have this thing in New York with the blue lights and in Ireland, and now there's a fucking hole in the Russian mountain. You don't think that's all connected in some shape, form, or fashion to where it could be a direct energy weapon? You think it's something else? I mean, come on. That's like that makes no sense. What do you?
And then there were two. And you got anything you want to say to me? Smart ass?
Goodbye, I guess.
Wearing your fucking sleeves and thinking you're over?
What just happened?
Gotta get Sal back.
You hung up on me? You took me out of the call? You prick?
Yeah, I had to do the fucking rib. I was trying to go home. I was going to get rid of everybody one by one, but you called back in, so now the bit's over with. I was gonna eliminate you. And then...
Sal.
How dare you?
Come on, don't hang out.
How dare you?
Upset. I sent you a sad emoji through Facebook and everything. I'm sorry.
How dare you?
I was trying, Sal. I was even trying to one up you. I got rid of Papadon, and then I was gonna get rid of Stevie, and I was gonna be the only one left. But fucking Papadon can't fucking just go to the back to the locker room. He had to come back in and hold the fucking title up, hold it above his fucking head, and say, "Look at me, I'm the champ."
It's like that guy.
Couldn't lay out.
I did at Georgia where I was like, I was giving him like Stevie Richards gives you everything out here until the day I'm done here and blah blah blah. And I walk away and he goes, "Yeah, that's right, Jeremy Young too. I'm the cowboy." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like
that was like me at fucking Smoky Mountain. Hey, it's nothing but love over here, you guys. It just as long as the love isn't for underage brides, it's all for you guys. And whether we tell you to go fuck yourself or Google something, just go do it. We got your best interest at heart. Whether it's the Brotherhood over here, Conspiracy Horsemen. On twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman, Russo brand, Hacker Hameen brand. I'm glad you guys are listening wherever you're finding our content, because these are the kind of conversations you're not going to find on your nightly news if you're still plugged into this mainstream media bullshit. You're only going to get...
Yeah, you're definitely not going to get one of your good friends telling you you're a piece of shit like Joe Rogan. You'll definitely not hear that anywhere else.
And that's the...
You're a multi-millionaire.
That's the beauty of why we are doing our thing over here. Stevie, tell them how they can get in shape and only have a fat bowl left over after they do Stevie Richards Fitness.
Well, you can find the best friend of Big Sal at StevieRichardsFitness.com. I have the 12 and the 16-week resistance band training program. The 12-week is definitely great for beginners if you never worked out before. That's the one for you. A lot of people that graduated from that are now doing the 16-week, and both of them have all new workouts separate from each other. So it's not a repeat program as you go to the 16-week.
Hey, Joe,
and
what's up? Yeah, I'll be on your show next week because it'll be funnier that way, I guess. Oh, you'll put over my joke? No, that's cool. No, wait, hang on. He's doing a plug. Hang on. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Stevie.
Sal, we can't see you, right?
You can't. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm just talking to my friend Joe. Go ahead.
So anyway, you can follow me at BWO Stevie, and you can see me on the Joe Rogan Experience in 2 weeks. And now here he comes. Good.
Oh, there he is.
Tell him I said hello, please.
Yeah.
At Stevie Richards on Instagram, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also catch me once again on Joe Rogan Experience in a couple
there's like
weeks.
20 minutes of plugs, so that'll be fun. Yeah, I know it's better than your normal show, but no, all right. Well, you know what? We'll talk about it off air. All right.
Say what's up to Theo Von. Theo Von, GGP, what's going on, man? What's going on?
This Saturday, ECWA in Delaware, GGP versus Azrael. Next Saturday, NYWC, GGP and Talon versus whoever. You can catch me on Facebook, Demetrius Papadon, Twitter, at Greek God Papadon, Pro Wrestling Tees Store, Greek God Papadon, YouTube channel, Greek God Papadon. Keep showing support to all the horsemen.
I see a theme.
Yeah, well, I try to keep it simple for the masses, Regardless of the fact, keep it strong, keep the support going for the Horsemen and everyone in the Ben Hammond Media Group. Support Stevie, buy his resistant band program so he can feed those sick, undernourished children in his basement. And maybe one day, when he'll make $1 million, he'll actually laugh at Sal's joke.
Yeah,
be nice.
Support Stevie, get him a camera, get his bands, shit on his friends. That's fine.
Then you're gonna hear a story like Stevie Richards shot in the leg at 4 a.m. like taking pictures of the moon. Some friggin' crackhead fucking tried to kill me or something.
Yeah. Well, that mountain crack is a motherfucker. You never know. It'll drive people crazy to do crazy things. Yeah.
It could have been something else.
Mountain crack.
I wanted to explain my theory, but that's cool. You guys are fine.
Go ahead, explain it.
Nah, there's reasons.
It's crack cooked down with Mountain
Was there any
Dew.
picograms involved?
Was it Mole Men?
It could have been Moment. You don't know.
Hey, you guys, don't be concerned about us. We're the Conspiracy Horsemen. We're brothers till the end. It doesn't matter. Somebody's going to go out and pull the car around, and we're all going to roll down the road and have a good time busting each other's balls, because that's what we do here. New Hameen's Tarp Emporium shirt hopefully coming out this weekend. Just finishing up some touches on that. So if you don't want to go to SmackDown and you want to support the best in ProWrestlingTees.com/Ben Hameen /Greek God Papadon /Stevie Richards /SEG shirt /your throat infidels and anybody else who thinks they can go at some underage bride or another pedophile Pizzagate scandal, because we're not having it. We're always here first on the scene telling you the truth, infidels, and you know where it is. Twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. YOLO. I liked your tick joke, Sal.